Good evening, everybody. I see people are taking bets whether I'm still in Thailand or in the UK. Look, two T-shirts on. Look at the background. Take a wild guess. I can't believe it. 2 nights ago, I put out that video where to exchange money in the Soy Arrowbot, just off Soy 3. I was there 2 nights ago, and here I am in the UK. Jesus, it is cold. There's no clouds in the sky tonight. Full of stars. I've got 2 T-shirts on. I don't do jumpers really, cardigans, whatever you call them, where you are. I've got a T-shirt and the polo on, but God, it's really, I think I've climatized to Thailand. It's really cold. So the plan is I've got back here now. My house is in its final completion stages. I haven't yet got a date. The solicitor called me up about a week ago, sent me an email and said, we're looking at the 28th of February. I wrote back and said, hang on a minute, I'm getting back on the 25th, which was yesterday. And I said, can you delay it to the 7th, which is about a week away. Now, I'm still waiting for confirmation. But if that happens, on the 8th, I'm back on a flight to Thailand. So fingers and toes crossed. Okay, so good evening if you've just joined us in the stream. 157 in already. That's a great start. And you know what? I'm looking forward to it tonight. I'm going to really get into it. I've got some beers here. I've got a little bit of whiskey over here. I've got some corny jokes. I've got the Ladyboy competition. I've got Spot the Real Thai Girl. I'm going to talk about lots of things. I'm going to talk about health insurance. I'm going to talk about my horrible return flight that I got back. Just what I learned from my trip in Thailand. I was there for 5 months. I made some mistakes. It was a good kind of testing run for the main event, which is coming hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So it should be a good stream tonight. I'm in no hurry to finish. We'll see how it goes, and the more in, the better. So let me start, as I always do, by saying hello to everybody to get the numbers up a little bit. Then we'll start our discussion. So as usual crowding. Let's say hi to Donald Trump, local president of the House, and as always, Mr. Donald. There you go. Right, Nat Love Dave, long time, just joined the Pattaya Flying Club. Gonna do a little sailing. Okay, no strings off at level suppose. A lot of people were thinking 3 p.m. for the stream. I don't know why. The thumbnail said 10 p.m. UK time, and the little black box said 4 hours at kind of 8 o'clock. So 3 p.m. I don't know where that comes from. Benjian Bain, is it? Hi to everyone. Saji, Patia. Okay. Robert Perusa, is it 10 p.m. UK time? Great. On a Friday or a Saturday. Well, it's usually, I like to do them on Fridays and Sundays, and I'm going to continue to do this while I'm in the UK. But I've got to be honest with you, I might go off the radar in a week or two. That means no stories, no live streams, nothing. I'm going to try not to. What I might do, the Saturday stories, I might condense just down to one story for 10 minutes. You know, I'm going to be cutting my internet here. There's no point paying for it if I'm not here. My wife's moving into her new house, right? So, you know, I'm going to be cutting my internet. I'm changing my utility bills. I've got to get all that. I've got to put a skip on the drive, get rid of everything, get rid of the furniture, the whole moving thing. So I possibly could go off the radar for 2 weeks, which isn't that long, really. Okay, who else we got in tonight? Let's say hi to Reggae Vibes. Haven't been in the stream for a long time, naughty boy. Right, an old friend there, Antonia Logia. Hello, Peter. Did you get back to the UK? I have done. It's very cold, and I don't like it. Somebody said to me, what's it like seeing your family for the first time in 5 months? It was like I hadn't left yesterday. We were arguing within 20 hours, so there you go. Some things aren't changed. Right, Steve James watching PV boxing, but was tuning. Good. Martin Ryder, hi. Roger Ward, Ben Lino, late, bloody hell. David Halpin, good morning, Peter. Early rise for you today. Hope all is well. I'm suffering from jet lag, you know. I never used to get jet lag, and I'm going to talk about the flight quite a bit later. It was a horrible, horrible flight. Absolutely rammed, full to the, you know, really busy flight. But it was one of the worst flights I've ever had back. I didn't get much sleep and had to change seat. I was lucky to change seat. But let's say hi to a few more people first. Mike H. Good evening, Pete, and all from Kansas today. 4 p.m. here when you start. Looking forward to the stream as always. Hopefully you aren't still jet lagged. Yeah, well, I am still, Mike, unfortunately. Hopefully. It feels like a Saturday today, not a Sunday. Obviously tomorrow, Monday. I might have to go to the bank tomorrow to change a few things as well. Ken Christopherson, hi, Peter. Love your channel. I'm really going home. Can't you do it from there? I think too much stress. Good luck. Yeah, I'm just going to take it as it comes, Chris. I'm here at the moment. And what I'm going to do when I finish, when this house is cleared out, when they go and I'm on my own, there's no furniture in the house or anything, I'm going to take the video camera. I'm going to just pick it up and show you where I've been streaming from for virtually the last 3 years. Okay. Stephen James, please try statement is incoherent. I'm not sure about that. Redfield, Denmark. Hello, everyone. Reporting for Mongering. Stephen James, to be, not to be. Do you know what? This picture is actually depressing. Let me go back into a Thailand theme. It was just to let you know where I am. Let's start as we mean to go on. Okay, there we go. Something a bit more get us in the mood for Thailand, as it were. Right, did I read that one out? Let's have a look. To be, not to be, evening Peter and fellow Mongers, been a long time, but glad to see streams back on a normal times and not when I'm tucking into my Sunday roast at my mum's. The problem is, it doesn't matter what time of the day I do it. It's always going to be a good time for some and a bad time for the others. When I announced the 10 p.m. stream last week, I had a bunch of Australians say, oh, well, that's it then. You've just lost your Australian audience. But what can I do? You know, I mean, I can't, you know, I can only do the times that are flexible for me and hopefully pick up people along the way. Brian Street, boxing on my left, banter on my right. Brilliant. Yeah, a lot of people watching the boxing tonight. Beer Pop Nana, evening Peter and all. Hope everyone has a great Sunday wherever you are. Okay. No name. Can't believe March is here. November coming up quick yet. Rumple B, Peter would be more right. Okay. I noticed this earlier and I wanted to put this up. Let me just save these ladies for later and get something a little bit more mundane, is it? For now, let's put that one up so we can have some serious chat now. Okay, right. I've seen this earlier and I wanted to respond to this. So Rumblebee says, Peter, it would be more responsive of you to tell people to have 3 million Thai baht set aside to self-insure, even after emergency heart surgery will run you 50k US dollars, not taking stent. Well, I kind of disagree with that statement. Okay, for several reasons. First off, what he's referring to is the video that I put out last week, and there is going to be a follow-up video to that. And what that was about, I'd spent a year researching healthcare. I was very, very disappointed with what I thought was a great company. They basically sent me a letter saying they'd insure me, but they disqualified everything that you can think of: heart, kidneys, lungs, heart attack. And it was like, I don't know, I think thought they were insuring my underpants or something. So what I decided to do was self-insure, meaning put aside a certain amount of money in the bank, which means that should something happen to me, I know that money's sitting there. And in the video, I'd actually said 300,000 baht. But what I hadn't gone on to say, because I wasn't really concentrating on that part of the video, which I will do on the follow-up video. But what I didn't say is I also have 300,000 baht was a starting point, okay? I was going to carry on topping that up because obviously inflation and everything. So the money I would have paid for the premium, it was like about 34,000 a year. 8,500 a quarter. So I was going to start off with this initial 300,000 baht, which is about £7,500. I was going to continue to pay into it, so it would be up over the years. And as well as that, I've also got a credit card with a 500,000 baht credit. Okay, so that would give me somewhere in the region of 1 million baht in case of emergency. Now this guy's jumped on to me and said, you know, I should be more responsible. Well, not really, because you know, I'm not your dad, am I? I'm not your father. And what I mean by that, it's for you to go out and do your own research. Okay, I've given you an opinion. Okay, I spent a year researching, and based on my research and what I found out, I give you what I thought was sound advice, what I would do. I didn't say you should go out and do that. What I said is I'm going to self-insure. I'm going to put 300,000 in the bank. I didn't say you should go out and do it. Okay, I'm not your dad. You have to go out and research it. You have to go out and find out for yourself. I don't know what your health is like. You might have great health. You might have underlying health problems, but whatever it is, I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying it's not my responsibility. I run a YouTube channel. Okay, it's not my responsibility to tell you how much money you need to put in the bank or what insurance company you should go with, or you shouldn't go with any insurance company. You have to make up your mind. Okay, and as I said, the 300,000 baht was just a starting point. Okay, so now that I've got that out of the way, let me explain the second part of that healthcare video that I want to do. Now, when you're talking about figures, 50,000 baht for a heart operation, it might well be in Bumrungrad, the best hospital in Bangkok, but it's not the only choice, is it? You know, I mean, if you took your daily room rate, just the room rate in Bumrungrad would be 15,000 baht a day, no less, okay? Because it's a top hospital in Bangkok. It's funded by some of the Arab states because all the Arabs go there. They're looked after by the governments, okay? So, of course, it's expensive. Now, there are just as good hospitals, but not quite as famous, where they have good English-speaking doctors, where 5,000 baht a day will cover your room and even less, okay? So I had this discussion with the insurance company, and again, I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm only going to put the information out there so you can make up your mind. So what the follow-up video is going to be about, what the insurance company, when I had the discussions with them, what they told me was that they've given me a list of hospitals that they recommend. So what they're saying is, look, you don't need to go to Bumrungrad, you don't need to go to a government hospital, but if you go to any one of these 2 or 3 hospitals, they're a high standard, but they're not the top hospitals, okay? You'll get well looked after, but your budget will stretch a lot further. So in the next video, what I intend to do is visit a couple of these hospitals, just get the lay of the land, see what they look like, talk to the, I can't interview the doctors, they won't want to be interviewed, I shouldn't think, but I just want to go in, see what the hospital's like, as recommended by the insurance company. I'll make up my mind which one I decide, because I have to register at one anyway. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to that hospital, talk to them. I'm going to register myself as a patient. I'm going to carry a card in my wallet that says, in case of emergency, phone this number. So my friend Simon will have access to the funds. And then I'm going to try and get some prices. And then what I'll do, I'll make another video and I'll tell you, look, this is the hospital I've gone to. This is why. Gives you an idea of their prices. So if you want to self-insure, I'd recommend putting this much money in the bank, depending on your health, build up your pot and go from there. But as far as your comment there, Rumbo, again, not knocking, I'm just responding to where you said it would be more responsible of me to tell people. Well, again, it's not my responsibility to tell anybody anything, okay? It's a YouTube channel and I'm just giving my opinion. They're like backsides, everyone's got one, but my opinion is based on a year's research, okay? So any other questions on that subject, you know, you're welcome to send them in. And I just want to say hi and thank you to Andrew Hammond, who's going off on his 6 weeks almost around the world trip tomorrow. Andrew's moderating for me tonight because Damon's he's not going to be around tonight for personal reasons, and Franco is still in Pattaya, which will be about 5 o'clock in the morning, something just after 5. So he'll probably be fast asleep. He might catch the end if he gets up early. Capio comes in occasionally, but he's not there all the time. So we'll see how Andrew gets on. Okay. Let's carry on with these comments now. Let me go down to the latest so I don't get down too far, and then I'll work backwards. Peter Cross, Paul, okay. No name, speak to the hospital administrator. Yeah, absolutely. You've got to go and speak to these people. Geezers, you're up early. Good morning, Peter. It's very early from Bangkok. Yeah, Jason, how are you doing? I'm back in the UK. It's very cold. Peter Cross, I knew this vlog would be dominated by a discussion on health. It won't be dominated, Peter. I just wanted to kind of respond to that because the guy's basically saying, well, I won't go on it because it's, you know, he didn't probably mean anything by it, but it's not going to dominate the stream. I've got lots of things we're going to talk about. I want to make it a really lively stream tonight. Like I said, I'm in no hurry to go anywhere quick, nearly 300 in. And, you know, we'll talk about whatever you want to. I've also got some corny jokes for you a little later on to lighten things up. Right. Let me just say hello to Sheila because somebody asked about you the other day. How is your grandmother, Sheila? Hope she's well. Glad to see you back safe. Got the stream in my ear while we watch the clowns fight. Not a fan of either. Want both of them smacked around. Yeah, I'm not a boxing fan either, but I guess a lot of people will. What time does it finish, the boxing, Sheila? Good to have you in anyway. Boohoo, how are you doing? Yours Travels, hi. Craig Stahik, is it? That's right. Everyone is different ages and some have health issues and some don't. Look, the other thing about health insurance, one thing I've learned along the way, okay, they're running a business, and in my eyes, again, it's a personal opinion, from the way the questions put in on the form, it's almost as if they want you to trip up, so that when it comes to putting a claim, it's like, well, you only put yes or you only put no. This wasn't brought up in the past. So people have said to me since I made that video, they said, look, why don't you try this company? They're not bad. Why don't you go to that company? But you know what? I've had it up to here with insurance companies. I got no time for them. As far as I'm concerned, you know, I've got to do what I think's right for me, right? I'm going to have that money, $1 million baht, probably sitting there waiting. And if something happens to me, then I'm guaranteed hospital treatment. Now, I just want to clear another myth now. I'm on a rant now. Here we go. Horses at the stables. Now, I just want to clear another rant now. Something else, some of the comments that people put on that video as well, they said, because what I'd also said, I said, if I get chronically ill, like say I get cancer and I have to get lots of follow-up treatment, there was a lot of references to Kevin Thailand when he got cancer and he didn't have enough money and he didn't have insurance. He had to start selling his assets to pay for his treatment. Okay, so one of the something else that came up, quite a frequent comment, people were saying, well, if you're away from the UK for 6 months, you lose your entitlement to the NHS, and that's actually not true, not 100% anyway. So yeah, if you go to Thailand, you cut, forgive the pun, all ties with the UK. You don't have a bank account, you don't have an address, you don't have any footprint in the UK, and you're gone for more than 6 months. That is correct. But the majority of people, they don't cut all their ties to the UK. Myself, for instance, I have property that I rent out, okay? Now, I don't pay tax on income that's earned outside the UK, but my properties in the UK, because that rent that's paid in, I mean, I don't own them outright, I pay mortgages, obviously, right? But because them properties, because the rents are paid by people here and they go into my UK bank account, well, I'm eligible for tax. Doesn't matter if I live in Thailand, okay? But because of that, I've got a footprint here in the UK. So that 6 month rule about losing the NHS, it isn't true for someone like me. The other thing is, if you maintain a UK bank account here, you have a footprint, so you don't lose it. It's so easy for people to leave a comment and say, "Oh, you're away for 6 months, you lose all entitlement to the NHS," and it isn't true at all. You know, you've really got to dig into these subjects. You don't just listen to read it. You know, you go onto Facebook, you see some of these comments, and you think it's etched in stone. It's not true. Okay, you've got to do your research. And like I say, as far as that 6 months goes for the NHS, there's very few people will cut all ties completely to the UK. They've either still got a bank account, or they've got a property, or they've got some kind of a footprint here, okay? So it's not all doom and gloom. It's not all bad news. Just get out there and do your research and don't listen to silly comments, okay? Right, and I'm really not on a rant tonight, guys. I just want to put those people straight who think that they know something, but it's actually incorrect. Because guys worry, a lot of the guys who are in my channel, they're my age, and they worry about healthcare. They want to go out to Thailand. They have conditions, and they don't want to be caught with their pants down, as the old saying goes. All right. So it's not a rant. I just wanted to clear that point up. Okay. Right. Matthew Cartwright. The real Dutch Farang 8921 Netherlands. Evening, mate. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go down because people complain I always get way behind in these comments. So I'm going to go with the latest again, work backwards. Putmaster 1, make sure you don't get ill in the UK, everybody on strike. The other thing about the UK, you know what it's like. I mean, even if they make rules, you know that in the UK, the immigration system and the NHS system, it's not linked. Believe it or not, it is not linked. So how would they know? Even if you did even if that 6 month rule did come in, how would they find out? I mean, I don't know. You'd have to be really unlucky, I think. To be, not to be. I doubt the UK NHS will be around in 2030. The way things are going, it's probably going to get heavily subsidized by private firms. And what will happen? It'll probably be the Americans come in and take it over eventually. But what I think will happen, you'll have to pay a premium, and if you can't afford to pay the premium, it will get subsidized. Just a guess, but I kind of agree with what you're saying there. Don't forget that when the NHS came into play, it was in I think it was 40s or 50s, when most families were very, very poor but honest, hardworking, and they just decided to have a health system that would benefit everybody. But people take advantage of it now. People fly in on medical vacations to the UK, take advantage of the systems. Even some of the people who work for I'm not talking about the level of the nurses and doctors, but more these managerial types that have got nothing better to do than pull meetings. I've read articles where they're buying stocks for the hospital at 5 times the price of what a normal customer would buy, because there's all sorts of backhanders going on and everything. I don't have any proof of that, and I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just saying this is how it's going, and there are a lot of people do take advantage of the NHS, and it can't last forever like this, unfortunately. Right, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, is it? Hi, that sounds a very upmarket name there. Maxwell, how are you? Hi, Peter. Hope all is well and that you're not freezing cold back in the UK. It is very cold. My Thai girlfriend is traveling to the UK for the first time this week. I've warned her how cold it is. It's really cold, Maxwell. I've been away for 5 months, acclimatized in Thailand. I'm getting used to the heat. I'm back here, and my daughters are saying, "It's not that cold, Dad." And I'm like, it's really cold, I can't wait to get back. I've only been here a day, and I want to get back already. Butterfly Farang, good evening. Stephen Peter just said he pays his tax on his properties. Oh, someone who's at yours travel. Yeah, absolutely. I pay all my taxes. Right, Andrew's Real World. I tried to make an appointment with my doctor's surgery last month, and they said an appointment is available in March. Disgraceful. Yeah, I mean, let's not whine. I'm not doing the stream tonight to have a whinge, but yeah, I feel it. Okay. Jay Easy, how are you doing? Good morning to you. Boohoo. In Canada, it takes 3 months for healthcare to be reinstated if gone for 265 days. Okay. Well, I won't go over old ground. You've heard what I said about the 6 month rule and all the rest of it. So, right, let me just put somebody on a timeout. We've got some silly people in tonight. 1 or 2 anyway. Okay, Butterfly Farang. Okay, that's a slight different handle on it. To be not to, yeah, okay, we'll read yours out already. Let's have a look. The real Dutch Farang, Mara, Peter, please don't forget to tape the shed and the daisies. The daisies are gone now this time. I'll be watering the frozen grass. Okay, where are we now? Okay, Peter Cross, March is only 2 days away. I've lost you. I love UK, NHS better than most. Yeah, okay. The Wutong Life. So it's not required to have health insurance to get a retirement visa. I thought it was. Well, I wouldn't say it's not required. I think I was reading somewhere some of the visas, like not an old visa, because I'm on an old visa. There wasn't any stipulation for me. I got a retirement visa to start with, and yeah, there was no talk about insurance or anything like that. I think that the insurance, the mandatory insurance, was when COVID was on. If you came through the airport, you had to have $50,000 of insurance, didn't you? And in fact, you know this, they're introducing this 300 baht tax at the airport when every visitor who comes into the airport has to pay 300 baht. Whether it'll be added to the ticket, I don't know. That's going to happen. I think they said sometime later in the year. But the whole idea of that was to cover hospital bills for foreigners, because a lot of foreigners come in with no insurance. They get ill, they go to hospital, and they skip. You know, so the hospital's left with a bill and nobody to pay it. And the whole point of this 300 baht airport tax is to cover the cost of these bills. Whether they'll use it for that is yet to be seen, but that's what they announced. Right, Craig. Unfortunately, it don't matter what country you're in, there will be a waiting period before you could get in to see a doctor unless you have an emergency and go to the emergency room. Yeah, the thing is, Craig, it isn't like that in Thailand, because Thailand's because the hospitals in Thailand, because it's a business, it is very, very good. You know, you can go there, register, and be seen by a real professional team within sort of 20 minutes. It is that good. And very good. PA Comanche, good afternoon. How you doing? Nice to see you in the stream. Ken Christopherson, sounds like dying people. Damn, be happy. Okay, no, nobody's dying here. Right, Barry, did you fly into Heathrow, Peter? I did. Okay, let me talk about the flight a little bit, because it was horrible. I've made up my mind now, because I won't be doing too much flying from the UK to Thailand and vice versa. I've made up my mind now. I've been flying economy, squeezed into them sardine cans for the last 35 years, going back and forth, 12-hour flights. And I had probably the worst flight of my life coming back this week. Let me tell you what happened. So I pay an extra £78 to have this seat near the fire door so you can put your legs out straight. And that's what I had coming out, and it was brilliant. But going back, I did have like when you get the row of seats, I did get the first one, but it wasn't the fire door. And the leg room was slightly more than if I'd been sitting in a seat behind me. But it was only about maybe, I don't know, 10 inches more, which sounds a lot, but it wasn't really. And I had the aisle seat, and it was kind of like, wow, I paid £78 for this. I wasn't really happy with that. But the worst of it was, so I'm on the aisle, on the other side of the aisle, nearest to me, there's a woman with a baby, okay? It's not her fault. It's not the baby's fault. I know. It just wouldn't shut up, you know? It was a toddler, and from the moment where I sat down, it was screaming and shouting and banging. And it went on. And you know, when you're tired, it's so irritating. In the end, I couldn't handle it. I went to the stewardess at the back. I said, look, I paid 3,000 extra for this seat. It's a night flight. I'm tired. There's no way I can sit there all night. Can you move me? And she said to me, look, the flight's really full. There's no seats. I said, look, I'll pay to be upgraded to economy, even business class. I said, I just can't sit next to a screaming kid for the next 12 hours. So she said, hang on. Come back, and she said, well, 38C's available, but there's no entertainment, and it's, you know, it's an aisle seat, and the galleys there, the toilets and everything. And I thought, it's got to be better than a screaming baby for 12 hours, right? As I say, I'm not blaming the mum, I'm not blaming the baby, but the mother was a little bit like, she reminded me of Katie Price. You know, everything was about her and her baby. You know, there was no one else on the flight. She did have a bit of an attitude. And anyway, I said to the stewards, can you help me out with something? Anyway, she did. She moved me into 38C, which was better because it was the same seat, but the fire door was there. But I'll tell you the problem. Every time I fell asleep, because the toilets were literally right there. So, you know, when people start queuing up for the toilets, they were, as I was trying to sleep, they were nudging my arm and waking me up, or they were queuing and kicking my feet, you know, stretched out, and they kept bumping me. It wakes you up, you know, and then you can hear the toilet every 10 seconds. You know, they open the door and it's the light, it gets very light. I put a mask on and I did manage to sleep. I got kind of like 15 minutes, then someone kicked me, then another 10 minutes and someone nudged me. I think the longest spell was about half an hour. And it was an awful flight. I got back and I was just absolutely shattered. So I've made up my mind now. I don't care what it costs. From now on, I'll only travel either economy upgrade or business class. I've found some kind of cheaper ways to do it. I just can't do economy anymore. It's great if you go, if you're on a budget, you just want to get there, 12 hours you can put up with, that's fine. But I've been doing it for years and years and years, and I just can't do it anymore. You know, it was a nail in the coffin. So yeah, never again, as they say. Right, Robert Gear, don't be cheap, buy business class. It's not a case of being cheap, Richard. A lot of people, you know, they can afford to go out to Thailand on a kind of nice holiday, but you know, if you've got to pay an extra £1,000, £1,200 for a ticket, well, that'll get you a lot of hotel nights, won't it? It'll get you a lot of entertainment. So some people, like I've always done, will go out on an economy ticket and they'll just put up with the uncomfort. But you know, I've got to the point now in my life where, you know, I'm getting on a bit. I've done all that, and I need a bit of comfort in my life now. I just can't do it anymore. Note to self: bring earplugs for flight. They gave me earplugs on the flight and a mask, but you can still hear everything. They didn't help me that much. Geezers, that 300 baht kicks in on the 1st of June. That money will help with health insurance for visitors and also public toilets. Okay. The public toilets have improved a lot in Thailand. People say to me, what are the biggest changes you've seen? Because, you know, I first got to Thailand in 1991, and there's a lot of subtle things that have changed. Like in the old days, every 7-Eleven you went in, they used to wire you. Everybody, they do it 100 times a day. I don't know, 200 times a day. So you walk into 7-Eleven, you get the Sawadee doorbell ring, but they'd actually give you a why every time. They don't, of course, they don't even acknowledge you now. And you know, lots and lots of changes like that. Right, Javier, Peter, if you have a bit of money left, Mr. Eggs from Le Pub is selling his milk bar, I believe, for around 3 million Thai baht. Well, no disrespect to Mr. Phil from Le Pub, but he's only just opened it. So if he wants to sell it, that sort of tells you something, doesn't it? And it's definitely the last thing in the world. What I'd want to do is to, you know, run a bar in Pattaya every day for the rest of my life with all the headache that goes with it. I just wouldn't do it. Charlie Stewart, right? I paid 2,800 for business with Eva Air for December. I thought you only live once. Yeah, fair enough, Charlie. Now I've got a tip off somebody. I met a guy who's got 3 or 4 bars in Treetown, a guy called Grant. And he actually said to me today, he said he flies on Finnair business. And he said normally it costs him about £1,600 to £1,800 for that's it. But you do have to change at Helsinki. And I said, well, why didn't you go with Thai Airways or Eva, because it's direct? Good airlines. He said they're just so expensive. He said I go with Finnair. He said it's a small airport in Helsinki. It's easy to find your way, and it's business class, and it costs him, you know, maybe half the price of a business seat on Eva Air or Thai Airways. You know, so I might give that a try. But I think this time, as I'm going back, and I won't be coming back here for a long, long time, I think I'm just going to treat myself and go Eva or Thai Air business. And you know, those business class seats actually give you a mattress. They lay flat down. Can't wait. Lovely. And of course, you got all the champagne. You can use the lounges, and big smile coming on the face just thinking about it. Right. Let's have a look. Where are we? So thirsty. I bought a Chinese tonight for everyone, and a lot of salt in it. Right. Good advice on the money exchange. I'll be using the vendor. Thanks for helping out, Joe Pett. Yeah, I got a little bit of some people sort of made some comments on that as well, and they were saying, oh yeah, it's not as good as Super Rich, or it's not. The whole point of that video, do you remember I showed you where that lady, she gives you really good rates in soy Arab. It's on a par with Super Rich. And my point was, if you were out at night and it was midnight and you thought, blimey, I'm a bit short of money, I need to change some money. Well, you're not going to go to Super Rich on Terminal 21, are you, at midnight? They're probably closed anyway. She's open really late. And the whole point of it was that if you're around Nani, you needed to change £100 or $100. Instead of going to those kind of booths, at the booth at the entrance to Nana or the one round the corner who don't give the greatest rates, cross the road and go to Soy Arab and you can go there. That was the whole point of that video, because she is very good. I'm not saying she's the best rate in Thailand all the time. I'm just saying she gives a very good rate. Okay. Okay, thank you, Andrew. Right, Barry John Card. Peter, have a look at flying from Dublin. It's so much cheaper, and get a £10 flight to Dublin. Is that what it is? £10? Wow. Yeah, I will look into that. Tom, use economy and put... I've lost you. Where are we? Tom, I'll put that up. Right, use economy and put in self-insurance fund. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no name. I should have asked her. It says, if someone can confirm if that money changer is open 24 hours. I forgot to ask her. You know, when I go back, I should be back in a couple of weeks, and I will ask her. I know she's open till at least midnight, and my guess is she's probably up until 2 because she runs it with her husband, and they both run it. I've seen both of them in there. Right, I'm just going to say thank you to a very generous guy out there, George Brooks. That's a very nice super chat. First one of the night, a very, very nice $49.99. That'll go down nicely with some of these over the next few weeks. Back on the old oldie beers again. But thanks, George. That's very nice of you. Okay, bear with me a second. Lots of text. Let me just close all this down. Right. Right, Shane Old Traveller. How you doing, Shane? I do notice it's you in the comments all the time. You always leave some comments on the story. Good to hear from you again. Airfares from Australia are coming down. Yeah, if you watch TNT, Tim Newton, he was talking about this the other day, and he was actually saying why are airfares very, very high at the moment. And I totally agree with what Tim says. It's all down to supply and demand. And now that COVID's on, they just don't have enough airline seats. So everybody wants to come now because they haven't come for 2-3 years. I mean, absolutely rammed it was when the last sort of month or two in Bangkok. You know, all the restaurants are full. You can't get a hotel room. The prices are high. Eventually, it will drop down. You know, the baht was very, very strong. And yeah, you know, I think it's down to supply and demand. And I think eventually, I don't know how long it'll take, but I think the price of flights will come down when the airlines, you know, have more seating available. A very good channel, TNT, if you haven't seen it. Right, Jamie296, I have changed at Helsinki before. It's okay, but still adds a lot of time to overall door-to-door time. Yeah, that's a good point. On balance, I would fly direct economy than business indirect. Yeah, that's something to consider. Or the way I'd look at it is maybe I pay a bit more and go with Eva or Thai Airways, because Emirates is a very, very good airline, okay, but obviously being Emirates, it stops at Dubai on the way over. And again, it's, you know, some people like it because they have 6 hours on, have a little walk around the airport, they do another 6 hours. But for me, I like the direct flight. Maxwell Jacob Freeman, I'll just call you Maxwell. It's a bit of a mouthful there. Noel Phillips released a video today, never heard of him, on Eva Air business class, more than $3,000 from Indonesia to Houston. For a lot of people, $3,000 is the cost of a 2-week holiday. Yeah, fair enough. But you got to do your, you know, you've got to do your research and you got to do what's right for you, haven't you? I'm not rich, certainly I'm not, but I've got to a point in my life where I'm thinking, you know, do I want to squander £1,000 on business because I'm going to, you know, enjoy the flight? And to be honest with you, yeah, I think I might do. Not all the time. If I was going back and forth, of course I couldn't do it. But, you know, this time I'm going back for a long time, so why not? Ben, are you heading to Pattaya when you get back? Well, do you know what? I love going to Pattaya as a tourist and sitting on the beach. There's 2 ladies I go to in Jomtien. They know me, I know them. I've been going to them for years. I can find the spot very easy. But what I like about, I won't be going directly to Pattaya because I've still got my apartment in Bangkok. Obviously, it's on a 1-year lease. It's all taken all the electrics off, the water's turned off, but I'm still paying rent by direct debit to the landlady. And as far as heading to Pattaya, I love Pattaya. Yeah, I love it. Not so much the nightlife these days, but, you know, just what goes on in the day, sitting on the beach, nice food. And I go down on the bus. It's 131 baht return. So there you go. Flying business class, but on the bus to Pattaya. Old Fogey, have you tried flying with British Airways? I haven't. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't even go there. I watched a video of a first class passenger on British Airways where the air conditioning was leaking, and it was just the standard for me was just not first class. Ellesmere, low season is coming. Google Flight is sending me alert for 650. Okay, yeah, and that's another thing to consider. You know, when low season's here, you will get the cheaper flights. But I'll tell you what, let's cheer ourselves up a little bit. Let's do the Monger Minute, because I do this twice. I'll do it now just to, you know, make the atmosphere a bit nicer around here, and then we'll get into some more comments. There you go. A little bit of harmless eye candy there. We'll do that again towards the end. Okay. Let me just say hi to another generous man out there. Jeff does that very, very often. A little something for a decent meal and beverage. Thank you very much, Jeff. I appreciate you do that very often. And I do remember you, as I say. Right. Okay. Let's have a look. Shane Old Traveler again. Monger 5 minutes, please. I'll tell you what, I'll do a Monger 10-minute, Shane. But it's just so hard to find the material because, YouTube are very... it's almost as if they don't like any sort of anything to do with women on the channel, unless it's like a finance channel or something. They're really anti anything a little bit sexy. So you've got to be really careful. I mean, if it's just like you see, I do. I never get into any trouble with them, any problems. I'm sure there's haters try and report me and take his channel down. Nothing's happened though, and the reason being is because I don't push the boundaries. What you see here on the Monger Minute, you can see on the beach in Pattaya. Okay, so it's not offensive, and but finding the right material that's you can use on the Monger Minute, it's very, very difficult. I have to do a lot of searching. That minute and a half or something, I think, took me about 2 hours. Because you have to find it, the little videos, then you have to cut them up so they don't go on too much, or sometimes they show a little bit too much at certain points. You have to cut that out. As much as I'd like to leave it in, I can't. And then, I've got to do all the little segments in between and the music on the top and the text. It's actually quite complicated and time consuming, but, people enjoy it. So I don't mind doing it, but that's the reason why I do it twice. And Shane, it's the reason I can only, it's called the Monger Minute, but it's generally 1:30 seconds to 2 minutes. All right. Right. Kev Bound. Hard to be only with one woman. Okay. Tahan says, I like the Sporty Spice one. I wonder what one was that. Okay, let's get this one up here. Peter, do you know what happened to Simon from the Land of Smiles after he went to the UK? Well, he's a legend, isn't he, with the old storytelling. We're on volume 3024, and you'll have to wait for the ending until next week. And for Christ's sake. No, he was a very good storyteller. I don't know. I mean, look, he had his little resort, didn't he, in Chonburi. He used to tell his stories. COVID hit. He tried to keep it going. He ran out of money. Somebody offered him an apartment in Phuket or something like that. He stayed there for a while, closed up his resort, came back to the UK. I know him and his wife were working, these centres where you drive in and they question you and then they gave you the blood and all. They were working there. I don't know what they're doing now. If I had to guess, what I would say is they're both working hard, trying to save up enough money. They've probably got a point where in their long-term plan where they say, right, well, when we get up to X amount of pound, we're going back out there. That's my best guess. But other than that, I don't know. I mean, he was doing live streams with a couple of other guys in Thailand, him obviously in the UK. I did catch a few of them. They weren't the most exciting live streams for me personally, but then I think they fizzled out. I don't know what's happened, so I really don't know. If anybody knows what he's doing, let us know and I'll share it. Dean Isan, how you doing? Good to have you in the stream, D. Good evening, morning. Yeah, how you doing? Right, Nick S, how you doing? Good to see you. Always good to have you, Nick. China Airways was selling plane tickets for 880 in December 22. I'm smiling, I'll tell you why. China Airways was selling air price tickets $880 in December 22. May 2020, I looked in January, the same flight was $1,500. Yeah, outrageous. I personally, and again, it's me personally, I'm not advising anybody, I would not fly China Airlines myself. I just wouldn't do it. They're probably okay now, but I remember flying domestically within China in the 80s, late 80s. And when the plane's just about to take off and everyone's strapped in their seatbelts and, all that stuff going on. It wasn't like that when I flew domestically I think I went from Beijing to a place called Dalian, I think it was. And people were stood up talking to each other as the plane actually took off from the runway. There was bags in front of the fire doors, all sorts. I'm sure it isn't like that now, but from memory, I just wouldn't fly them again. One of them went off the end of the runway in Hong Kong years ago as well. I don't know if you remember that one. The Real Dutch Frank, 8/9/2021. If you watched everything Pattaya, you have almost seen the whole of Pattaya. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Simon, you're up early. A super chat from Simon Fox, 1,000 baht, Harvey's Bristol Cream. Well, how you doing, Simon? I won't be bringing you any Harvey's Bristol Cream. Thank you for the 1,000 baht, because I'm going to have so much on my case. I was having a look today. Something very, very funny. When I when I went out to Thailand, I had a full suitcase, but because I've got an apartment, I left a lot of stuff there, and I weighed the suitcase on the scales in the airport, 7 kilos, nothing there. But I always take Simon a bottle of sherry out, and although the bottle's only like that by that, I have to put about that much bubble wrap around it. Last thing I want to do is have a broken bottle of sherry. But I've got so much going into the case, I don't even know if I'll get it all in. So I doubt on this trip I'm going to be able to get you the Harvey's Bristol cream, unfortunately. But nice to see you up early, and thanks for the $1,000. He'll get that back from me somehow. It'll be a meal or something or other. But yeah, okay. Real Redfield, Denmark. How you doing? The horror. I don't know what that really goes to. Okay, Don. What's the best time of year to visit? Where? I presume you mean Thailand. Well, actually, the best time to visit is probably end of October till end of January, because it's very, the weather's very pleasant. You can actually sit outside in open bars. There's a little bit of a breeze. I used to have until probably 2-3 weeks ago, my routine in the morning was when I woke up about 8:39. I'd make a coffee, I'd sit on my balcony, and I'd go through my comments on my mobile phone. Very pleasant. I can't do it now. It's just too hot, it's too humid. So in answer to your question, if you don't want the heat so much, go around. That's why it's high season. November, December, January, it's very, very pleasant. Passimo, how are you doing? Haven't seen you in for a while. There are 2 major Taiwanese ones, EVA One and China Airlines. Yeah, EVA Airlines is okay. I prefer Thai Airways, and I'll tell you why, because the Thais, the stewardesses, the stewards, we used to call them trolley dollies in the old days. But I just find the Thais, as compared to the Chinese on EVA Air, I'm not knocking them. I just find the Thais are more accommodating. Like that story I told you about not wanting to sit next to the kid and the flight was full and all that. With the EVA Air, I just feel like, they would have just said like, tough, it's full and that's your seat and that's it. Whereas the Thais, they went out of their way to accommodate me. And I find on most flights they do that. Now, here's a story about EVA Air. I'm not knocking EVA Air, but this is a true story. I was on a 12-hour flight to Thailand. I hadn't eaten. They served the meal, but about 5 hours later, I was absolutely starving. I went into the galley, and everyone's asleep. It's, pitch black. Everyone's asleep. And there was a thing of rolls, a tray of rolls. So I said to the girl, can I have one? Yeah, no problem. Ham and cheese or something. Little rolls. I ate one. I thought, yeah, that was nice. Went to get another one. She grabbed my wrist. She said, oh, they're for everybody. And I thought, Jesus, that was going to have me up in court in a minute. Right, let me, Nick, thank you for that, mate. Nice super chat. I'm riding with Singapore Air, but I'm with you, not flying with them either. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I thought Singapore Airline were pretty good. I'm riding with Singapore Air, but I'm with you, not flying with them either. Okay, fair enough. But thanks for the super chat. Yeah, PA Comanche, Randy, can you define low season? I did just now, Randy. So low, oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. So low season is when it's very, very hot. So you can say anytime sort of March, April, June, July. You've got Songkran in April. Everybody's chucking water over each other for a few days. It just gets really hot around July, August, September. And then don't forget, you've got the rainy season, which kind of leads up to October. So you're talking August, September, and they have it's monsoons, So you talk about the hot months where you are July, August, September. It's kind of like the low season in Thailand. You get some good deals, some good flights, but it's very, very hot. You're talking 87% humidity. That is very, very humid. You take a shower, walk outside, you're sweating again. Okay, the real Dutch Frank again. Seen a few cancellation delay from Amsterdam to Bangkok. Okay, I've always been very lucky like that. I haven't had any flights cancelled. I want to wish Andrew Hammond all the best. Andrew's got a channel called Andrew's Real World. He's moderating tonight, but he's off on his trips tomorrow. He's told me he's flying out to, I can't remember his schedule exactly because he's doing such an itinerary, but he's flying out to Rome. He's got an 11-hour stopover. He's going to be going to Abu Dhabi. I know he's in India. He's some far-flung places. So Andrew's got a channel. It's fairly new. I think he's got a couple of hundred subscribers. Quite interesting. Andrew's one of those travelers. He puts it all in a rucksack and he just eats where the locals eat and he explores and he climbs mountains and all sorts. So have a look at his channel. It's quite interesting. But he's going off for 6 weeks tomorrow. And I'm sure we'll see some good videos. I'm a little bit lazy, I sit in hotel rooms or I'll do one from the swimming pool or something like that. I do occasionally venture out onto the mean streets of Bangkok, but Andrew's out there all the time. Okay, Ben again, China Airlines in Taiwanese, yeah, they are Chinese, Taiwanese Chinese, obviously independent state. The people are Chinese, but there's a big difference with the airlines. I think there is anyway. Let me just turn this down. Oh, just think, last week I had the air conditioning unit here, and I was giving it all that. Okay, let's do something with this background for a change. There we go. Right, okay. Put Master One again. Someone asked a really good question before. Can the hospital break into the 800,000 baht in your Thai account if you're incapacitated in the hospital? I don't know a definite answer on that, but what I would say is a lot of people don't have the 800,000 in the bank. I can't say anything more than that. You'll have to guess what I mean. There's ways around everything. As far as the 8,000 baht, I'm not sure it has to be in your account all the time. It only has to, this might be wrong, I'm just guessing, right? Obviously, when you go for the visa, they want to see that you've got 800,000 baht in your account, but I don't know if you're allowed to dip into it or it's got to stay there. So maybe somebody who knows could tell us and we'll share it. You got to remember, with Thailand, there's a lot of rules. A Thai once said to me recently, actually, I went to a government building and I had to sign lots and lots of forms. And the person who took me there, the agent, and she's Thai, she said to me, she said, you know what, Peter? She said, honestly, Thais love a lot of paperwork. They like a lot of signatures, a lot of paperwork. And I said, why is that? And she said, nobody ever reads it. I don't know. They just like the paperwork. So, keep that in the back of your mind when you're doing all this stuff. David, how you doing? Not driving tonight? Good to see you in. Steve P. Hey, Peter, hope the air is better now. We had a lot of pollution in not only in Bangkok, but in Pattaya as well. And in fact, it was quite dangerous levels where the government was saying, if you can, stay indoors. And when I was walking along Sukhumvit at 5 o'clock in the evening I went to the pharmacy near Soi 4, very good pharmacy there. And I walked back up to the Nana station. And because the traffic on Sukhumvit Road is, it's slow going, you've got these old diesel trucks and everything. Very, very polluted. I was wearing a mask. I've never worn a mask other than COVID, and you don't have to wear a mask now, but I just found that I had to wear a mask because if I didn't wear a mask, I was getting a really tickly throat and sneezing and all the rest of it. But in answer to your question, is the air better now? It comes and goes, doesn't it? It depends how. There's always going to be the pollution there, and what makes the difference? A couple of things make the difference. It's the sugarcane burning of the fields up north on the borders of Chiang Mai there. They're trying to stop that, but that causes a hell of a lot of pollution. And of course, a breeze, if you've got a bit of a breeze, and obviously it blows it out most of the time. If not, it's very static. But that's where in the UK, for most parts, we're very, very lucky because we've got good quality air and we can drink water straight out of the tap, which was really, really strange when I got here because every time I went to get water for the kettle or something, I went to go for a bottle in the fridge. I thought, oh no, I can get it from the tap. So, okay. Right. Ben says, I paid 275 return London to Bangkok 2019-20. Yeah, that's really cheap. That was there roof racks on the plane? Yeah, that's a good price. Right, Shane, I'll travel again. Always travel in March for my birthday. Hot as, yeah. I can put up with Thailand in any temperature. When you live there, you do climatize. And when I lived there for a long, long time, I'm not saying I could go outside and never sweat, but it does get better. And in fact, this time I got to the point, because I've been there 5 months now, I haven't bought them, but I was going to buy them. When I lived there, I used to have fans in the daytime because when you have aircon on all the time, it's not great. And you have the aircon on to sleep, but you have fans in the daytime. And I was actually going to buy one for the bedroom and one for the lounge. These big stand-up fans. And you do get used to it, and the fans are a nice static, move the air about. And I'm going to get them when I go back, but I'll probably have to climatize again, depending on how long I'm out here for in the UK. Mr. Ben, evening, Peter. How does it feel that this, in brackets, apart from perhaps a major family event, wedding, Christmas funeral, maybe your last ever time in Blighty, daunting or liberating? Absolutely liberating. It really is. I arrived back on Saturday early morning, 6:20 a touchdown. I was in my home here at 9:30. It was like I'd never been away. The good thing was I seen Benji, my dog. Took him out for a walk. It was great, nice fresh air and everything. Out of condition, need to lose a bit of weight. But there's nothing for me here, it's like being in an open prison in the UK. It really is. It's like, for me at my age, with my separation from my family and everything, what am I going to do? I don't work now. I potter about, I do YouTube and, what can I say? I mean, life is just so much better in Thailand, you know, especially the last couple of months where I've had my apartment in Bangkok, you know, there's a park very close by to me. I walk a couple of miles. I go there 5:30 with my vest, my headphones on with music. I walk around at 5:30. I can go out and eat not street food. I can go out and eat delicious food wherever I want to. I can visit friends. You know, the BTS is there. I can go shopping malls. You know, you just feel like you're alive when you're there. But in England, it's on your own. I say on your own. There's not a lot going on for me. Like I say, I feel like I'm a little bit like in an open prison. You know, it's not. I don't like it much. Right, Matthew. Are the Bangkok bars still full during the rainy season? Not well. I mean, it depends how many people are there. It's, you know, obviously if it's not high season, there's less numbers and you get better deals. You know, the hotels take advantage of the high season. You'll pay very high prices. To give you an example, somewhere like the Stable Lodge in Soi 8. Well, when I last stayed there in December, I got a room for 1,000 baht a night. Now they're charging, I think it's just under 2,000 baht. You know, so they're always moving their prices about. And as far as restaurants and stuff, yeah, they won't be as busy in low season, but they're never actually dead. Okay, Ricardo, Peter Barb, you're very welcome. I think Peter skipped my post, but glad you got into it. I don't skip any of them. You got to remember, you know, there's like over 300 people in now. Everybody's posting comments, and I try to get through them. I try to talk about things as well, and sometimes you do miss comments. So if it's something you feel like I should read out, just put it again and again and again until I get it right. Happy gogohopping.com. How you doing? Long time I haven't seen you in the stream, but to be fair, the times of the streams have been different, haven't they? A lot of people thinking this year that low season won't be a normal low season. Lots of people who couldn't come because of COVID and can't wait for high season are coming now. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really busy. Yeah, you're welcome, Andrew. Good luck with your trip tomorrow. Hope to see some good videos. Okay, Ricky says flights from Canada are still 2 times what they were in 2019, so I want to book early next fall. Yeah, and don't forget as well, you know, fuel prices and what's going on in Ukraine, Russia, all the rest of it. That's having an effect on prices as well, isn't it? Right, Jeff say I went to apply for my US passport a week ago. I'm planning going to Phuket in October. Okay, that's great. Don't forget, Phuket is probably one of the most expensive locations in the whole of Thailand. You know, it just always has been. And the taxi drivers are always getting wrapped on the knuckles for doing naughty things with tourist prices and everything. All their meters don't seem to work for some reason. Peter Cross, 800K only at a time of application. Ben, Leno, Matthew, yeah, mate, more or less complication. Mr. Ben, okay. Mr. Ben, a hospital can't access your bank account without your permission. You can spend all of the 800,000K, but you will have to replenish it before the next visa renewal. Okay, very good, Mr. Ben. Like I say, just on this, I will be making a follow-up video again, but just, you know, my decision to self-insure, and self-insure meaning have the money in the bank. You know, one of the things that's really kind of pushed me that way after having my dealings with the insurance company is there's just no guarantee that they'll pay up, is there? You know, you could be paying for 5 years, you have a heart attack and they find some little clause and you've lost, not only have you lost all that premium, but you've got to find several £1,000s to pay for your operation you've just had. So at the end of the day, if you're prepared for it, you say, right, I've got this pot of £10,000, $12,000. I'm going to add to it every year. It's going to increase. And whenever I've got any spare cash, I'm going to stick it in there. The good thing is that money is always yours. Whatever happens, even if you die before you can access it, your family or whoever you want will benefit from it. They're going to be your beneficiaries, aren't they? So instead of you giving money away every month relentlessly to some insurance company who probably won't pay out because they're going to find some clause, why not self-insure? You know, that's what I'm recommending to everybody now. A lot of people won't agree with me. They're saying, oh, you've got a very cavalier attitude. You know, I've been insured for years with a great insurance company and they always pay out. But it's if they pay out. It's not guaranteed, is it? And that's the unsettling thing for me. Have I not ticked the right box? Have I missed something? Is there something in a file somewhere that I don't remember? Are they going to turn me down? I haven't got that worry now. The money's going to be sitting in the bank. And if something happens to me, I am guaranteed to get sorted, because the other benefit is, I'm really ranting about this tonight, the other benefit is with insurance companies, a lot of them stipulate what hospital you have to go to. Not all of them, but some of them will say, well, this is our chosen hospital, you have to go here. And it might not necessarily be in your interest why they're sending you to that hospital. It's because they've got it's a preferred hospital because they're making money from it. Don't forget, insurance is a business at the end of the day, right? They want to make money from you, and if they can make even more money by sending you to this hospital, even though that hospital would be a better choice for you, they're going to do it, right? And that it's just a fact of life, isn't it? So by self-insuring, you choose the hospital, you choose how much you want to pay, how much you want to spend, what you want done. And at the end of the day, if you do go another 10 years and nothing's happened to you, that money's yours. I feel really strongly about it, and I don't normally advise people, but that is my advice. If you're okay, or you're having problems with a health insurance company, just self-insure. What I would really recommend is on that particular video, read all the comments. There's some really interesting comments. There's examples of guys who have had things happen to them and they've been self-insured and they've paid. They've chosen their own. There was one guy, he paid cash. He said to the doctor, I'll give you cash. And because he was paying him cash, the doctor treated him like royalty. He had a fantastic room. He had first class, operation, whatever it was he had done. I can't remember. Just go through them comments on that video. There's some really interesting comments. And it'll be if you can spend an hour on it, it'll be a real eye opener. There's a few people say things like, oh, they're a little bit rude. They say things like, oh, you must be insane if you think this much money will guarantee this or that. But, put them to one side and read the sensible comments, and you'll see there's a lot of positive things that come out of it. Okay, debug in Pattaya now. It's good, but it's got a weird vibe now. Got to admit, it depends where you are. Soy Bakawa's pretty good at the moment. The beach sort of side, that has got a bit of a vibe. Okay, so there you go. Look, from Faraway John. I self-insured for 18 years in Thailand. It'd be good to know if you actually had to use any of them funds for anything. Have you ever had an illness other than the odd kind of like, outpatient thing? You got food poisoning or something. We'll get something. But I mean, did you ever have a heart attack or a stroke or something you had to pay out for big time, or were you lucky? Mike Braithwaite, insurance companies are repulsive. No problem taking your money, but when you need assistance, they do whatever they can not to pay. Your words, not mine, and I'm not disagreeing with you. There's plenty of documented cases, and there's actually been some big Hollywood movies. There's one that comes to mind. I can't remember the title of it, but there's a boy comes from a working class family. His mother was paying his insurance policy for years and years and years. He got cancer, and they just wouldn't pay, and the guy died young, and he was fully insured. They should have paid out. Great movie based on a true story. Mike, right, I really like the self-insured idea. We all want to keep healthy, so paying for insurance year after year and you hopefully you doesn't seem cost effective. Well, don't forget, Mike, it wouldn't be so bad if it was guaranteed. If you said, well, look, I'm going to put this much money in every month, but I know if I get sick, peace of mind, it's worth the money. But it's a roulette wheel. You'll pay all this money and they might say no to you at the end of the day. And what can you do about it? Not a lot. You'll be fighting a corporation, Faraway John, I think I've read that one. Oh, there we go. I had several 1 week stays in hospital, never spent more than about 30,000 baht. Chiang Mai, nothing serious. Okay, there you go. Where did that come from? Right. Let's have a slurp on this and we'll read Pete Bailey's comment. Okay. Peter, I have a friend to non-UK. I have a friend that does exactly what you've decided to do. He's 70, keeps $1 million Thai outside of Thai works welfare. Yeah, and $1 million baht at the end of the day, it's 25,000 pounds, about just under 30,000 US dollars. It's a lot of money to tie up, but it is your money at the end of the day. Okay. Paul Hoskins, Patty, what a great fight. Is it finished now? Right, okay, you probably won't read this one. Well, I don't screen the comments, Mr. Ben. I just put them up and read them, so I don't even know what I've got. I put it up on screen. I don't even know what it's going to say. So let me read it. You probably won't read this one, but remember that Kevin Tynan was a great proponent of self-insurance, and look how that turned out for him. Yeah, I mean, that's mentioned quite a lot, but there's a couple of things you've got to remember about that. Kevin had, God bless him, not great. He's one of the first, wasn't he? The thing is, Kevin had cancer, so it wasn't like he had a heart attack, went in for an operation, 300,000 baht, 500,000 baht, thank you very much, live a good life. It wasn't that, was it? He got cancer. He had to have continued treatment, so that meant continued payments, which he couldn't afford. He had to sell off some assets, so that his condition was actually a long-term condition. Now, as I said at the beginning of this stream, People will say if you've been out of the UK for 6 months, you're not entitled to the NHS, which isn't actually true. As I said, if you come in late, if you have a footprint in the UK, either a bank account or an address, you're entitled to it. Okay, so in my own personal case, if what happened to Kevin happened to me, it's simple. I would get on a plane, I'd come back to the UK, and I'd be treated by the NHS, and I wouldn't have to worry about what happened with Kevin. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying Kevin didn't have a footprint in the UK. He totally gave up on the. I'm totally giving up on the UK, but I've got a little bit of property that I rent out. I've still got a live address that I can use. So, you know, I'm paying some UK taxes on my property. So if something happens to me and I've been gone 10 years, I can come and use the NHS. Kevin wasn't lucky enough to be in that position because he didn't have any footprint left in the UK. And that, unfortunately, was his downfall, not having the insurance. Right, geezers. I'm with you, Peter. I'm going to self-insure because, as you say, if you don't use it, it will go to my tilak when I get my return ticket. I've met it's this Jason. I've met his tilak. Nice girl. They're all nice girls, aren't they? Ricky, if insurance was so bad, nobody would get it. Well, people get it, Ricky, because they're sensible and they want to do the right thing. So they think, well, if I get ill, I want to be covered. But the problem is they don't know that they will be covered. So what you're saying is right. Good people make sensible decisions, pay them premiums for years. Sometimes they do pay out. Sometimes they do. Okay. But a lot of times they don't. And, you know, for this reason, a lot of people are now deciding to self-insure, including me. Welcome to the Insurance Hour vlog. Barry Joanne Card. I better get off, Peter. Better pick my passengers up in London and take them to Manchester. I'll watch it when I get home. Well, that's a long drive. Okay, Barry, thanks for visiting. Right, let's change the mood a little bit. Let's do Spot the Tiger, okay? We haven't done a competition yet. Right, you know this one. There's a bunch of girls from all over Asia. Only one of them is Thai. And I want to know which of these is the Thai girl as opposed to Japanese or Korean or something else, okay? Very, very difficult. We're looking for the Thai girl. Let's see who got it right. Let's see who got it wrong. We're starting off with Matthew Cartwright. And no, Matthew, it wasn't number 4, unfortunately. Brian Street, no. Matthew Braithwaite, no. Delayed Dave, no. Serge R, no. Shane O'Traveller, no. Real Rennie, no. Dean Isan, no. Izzy Zahara, I can't pronounce it, but you said one and it's not. Thai Billy Boy, no. We haven't had the right answer yet, but we have one now. No, we don't. Jeff say, I wish it was right, but it wasn't. It isn't. Far Away John, no. Charlie Street, right, no. Mike H, no. George, no. Only in Thailand, no. Pete Bailey, we haven't had the right answer yet. Passimo, no. Roger, no. David, no. KR3, no. I'm just checking here. No, right. Andrew's Real World. Okay, we got a winner. Well done, Andrew. You know your Thai goes. Joe Pett, no. Steve P, no. Puckmaster 1, no. Cosmin M, no. Randy, no, not number 8, I'm afraid. Go Hopping, no. In Thailand Till I Die, no. Good name. Max Vite, yes, Max, you got it right. Well done. VVV, no. Ben Lino, no. K, yes, you got it. Well done to you. Ed Jones, no. Charles Sanders, no. Global something Blackman, no. Tommy G, yes. Bendover, no. Deke the Trucker, hi Deke, how you doing? No. Paul Scarth, yes. Ricky, we don't have a 9. No Name, no. Cos M, only 1, but they're both wrong. Don, no. Nick S, no. Ken, no. No. Clive Sweeting, no. Per Eng, no. Geezers, no. Zubek G, is it? No. Nick Reels, no. Ricardo, no. Oh, not many right ones tonight. Kelly Harnett, I hope it's 4, but it's not. And just to let you know, number 2 is actually a Filipino girl, not a Thai. Right, Dog, no. Simon Mays, no. Coconut Head, no. Reggae Vibes, no. Simon Hawkins, no. Isles of Sackindix, no. Peter Cross, yes. Well done, Peter. Redfield, Denmark, no. Dave Doug, I'm going to whiz through these now. Dave Dakin, yes. Coconut Head, yes. Coconut Head, yes again. Jim, no. Easy Zahra, I want all of them, yeah. The Real Dutch Frang, yes. We're going to whiz through these now. Right, I'm only going to read out the right answers now. I don't think there's many more because it'll go on too long as always. If you don't hear your name, Roger, you got it right. Anybody else before we put you out your misery? Matthew, you got it right. I think we're there. Richard got it right. Anybody else? That's it. Okay, let's put you out the misery. Here is the answer. Personally, I thought the Vietnam pilot was a good way to fly, if you know what I mean. Right, okay. Right, I just want to show you a little clip here. It's really short, just a few seconds, right? What this is, just to give you a little background, it's 2 girls, young girls, they're talking about their boyfriends, whatever. And the boyfriend of one of them has sent his girlfriend a picture of something on his body that we won't mention here, but you can imagine what he sent this girl. And this girl is actually showing the picture of what her boyfriend has sent of his anatomy to her friend. Okay, so at this point she picked up a phone and she's showing the picture of the boyfriend, and this is the reaction. I thought this was quite funny.
Don't you dare laugh.
As I always say, if it puts a smile on my face, I know it's going to put a smile on your face. Let me run it again because it's so short and it's so funny.
Don't you dare laugh.
Right, and while we're being silly, let's get this out of the way. I've printed off a few corny jokes tonight. There's only 2 or 3, but I'll read them out and we'll see how we get on. Not the most funniest, but worth a little get your spirits up a little bit. A man goes into the doctor and he tells him, "I can't stop singing the green grass of home." The doctor said, "That sounds like Tom Jones syndrome." The guy then asks, "Is it common?" The doctor says, "It's not unusual." I thought that one was very clever. A woman gets on a bus with her baby. The bus driver says, "That's the ugliest baby I've ever seen." The woman walks to the rear of the bus and sits down fuming. She says to a man next to her, "The driver just insulted me." The man says, "You go up there and tell him off. Go on, I'll hold your monkey for you." All right, last one. Three guys stranded on a desert island find a magic lantern containing a genie who grants them each one wish. The first guy wishes he was off the island and back home. The second guy wishes the same. The third guy says, "I'm lonely. I wish my friends were back here with me." Them girls get me out the crapper. Right, okay, let's get serious now. Right, I've missed a super chat. Who's giving me that? Reggae Vibes, thank you, mate. Very kind of you. Got back to the States 3 weeks ago. All I want to be is back in the kingdom with my friends and Thai beauty. It's almost a drug, isn't it? It's almost like cocaine. Once you've been to Thailand, you just got to get back there. Hence why I live there now. What would I be called? A Bangkokian, is it? Or Thai? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, thanks for the super chat. Very generous of you. Right, okay, where are we? What are we doing now? Let's go down to the latest. Oh, another super sticker. Brilliant. Marvin, these have been a bit thin on the ground while I've been doing the they used to make up quite a bit of my income, monthly income. While I've had the time change in Thailand, I had to put them out like 4 or 5 p.m. UK time. They've disappeared into the wind, like the governor in the Shawshank Redemption said. It just upped and like a fart, just vanished in the wind. Great saying. But Marvin, thank you very much for that. Very generous. Right, okay. Missed a lot of these, but we'll carry on where we are with some of the latest ones. Yeah, no, I like that name. I like the name. Right, Javier. Right. Peter, how is your friend Simon getting on with his cannabis business? The whole warehouse full of containers looks very impressive. He's doing very well. He's doing very well. So, you know, my friend Simon, he did all the Nat and Dave cartoons. I think he's probably listening to this because he gave me $1,000 super chat earlier on. He won't be able to sleep for 2 nights now. But no, Simon, he had a factory converting containers. So he'd buy shipping containers that came in from China, and he had a business converting them into things like toilet blocks, office blocks. He's built them for the army, the Thai army, the American embassy, all sorts. It was quite a good business. And then, you know, they changed the cannabis law, and he could have done it all himself, but he wanted to grow very, very fast. So he invited investors to do it. And a lot of people have invested, and I think they're going to do very, very well. I was watching, somebody sent me, Brian Flowers did a live stream the other day, and somebody mentioned me, but they didn't mention me on name. They said, oh, there's a YouTuber who tells stories. He used to promote cryptocurrency. Now he's promoting cannabis with crazy returns and all this. And the guy really didn't know what he's talking about, because I've never, ever had anything to do with crypto. I certainly haven't promoted it. And Simon's business, he has a white paper, the whole plan, you know. I mean, it's not like you go along and it's all whispers, you know, it's all done properly. And but anyway, Javid, in answer to your question, very, very well. Okay, bear with me. Right, Joe Pet, haha, almost like a drug. Yeah, okay, yeah, I didn't mean that, but yeah, well spotted. Michael, how are you doing, mate? Nice to see you in the stream. Hello, Peter, late to the live stream. Too bad I didn't run into you during my recent visit to Bangkok, but I had a great visit. Cannot wait until the next time. Yeah, so the thing is, Michael, I've met a lot of really nice people because I've been in Thailand for 5 months. I lived the first 2 months out of a suitcase in Pattaya. It started to get on my nerves a bit. Moved into my great apartment. Fantastic. Very happy there. And I have met a lot of people, and it depends what I'm doing. If I was, you know, scheduled to go out and do some filming or interviewing, or I had personal things to do, like just the weekly shop, you know, go out and do the weekly shop, takes a few hours. Sometimes people would contact me, and I met a lot of people, but other times the times clashed, or you know, somebody was coming back from Pattaya just as I was going to Pattaya, or someone was arriving into Bangkok just as I was leaving Bangkok. There was quite a bit of that, but I did meet a lot of people, and I did want to meet you, Michael. So I do hope sincerely that one day, if you're in Bangkok, I'm in Bangkok. I don't do the go-go bars so much these days because they kind of, I get tired, you know. But if you want to meet up for a lunch or a coffee, I've done it with a lot of people out there. We've met up. I've met some really, really great viewers, subscribers. It would be great to meet up. Peter Cross, Brian Flat. I think Brian's okay. Brian's okay. I like Brian. Right, Brett Border. Bangkokian, you're right. Thought it doesn't quite roll off the tongue. Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure. It was a wild guess, actually. Right, let's go back on some of these older ones that I've missed. And don't forget, we've still got the Ladyboy competition coming up. And right, Dave Darkin, is it? I usually get the pin here as well. Okay, right, what's that one there? Globalism black man. Okay, the Indo chick is gorgeous. They're all nice. You wouldn't turn any of them down, would you, if you're single and they knocked on your door late at night? Let's have a look. Mara Fury 1, Joe Pet. I would only dollars. I would marry all of them. Yeah, absolutely. Number 7 is the most beautiful. Which one was number 7? Let me have a quick look at her. Oh, well, you know the answer to the Ladyboy competition now, don't you? Hopefully you didn't notice that. South Korean, isn't it? South Korean. Right, okay, let's have a look. David, not working yet as I got sacked via email on the 12th of 12/22 as bad weather due to heavy snowfall, as I did not want to injure up to 60 people per journey. But tomorrow, hope 1,000 plus per week job. Okay, brilliant, David. Good luck with that. Paul Scarth, Brett Border problem is when they shorten it. You either become a banger or a C. Okay, bit cryptic that one. Let's read that again. I didn't quite get that. I put that up on screen. Brett Border problem is when they shorten it. You either become a banger or a. Okay, I get it. Okay, I get it. Right, Ladyboy competition equals win a Ladyboy. Okay. Passimo, the real Dutch Frank 8921 NL, he's just early for the Ladyboy competition. A lot of people like the Ladyboy competition. I do lose viewers. That's why I put it on later. But some people have said to me, oh, it's getting tired. Don't do it anymore. But so many people like it. I mean, it's 5 minutes, isn't it? 3 minutes. Why not? Let's have a look. a lot of people talking to each other here, so I'm just trying to. I don't want to go on any more about health insurance, but what I will say, I am going to do a follow-up video on health insurance. You know, let me talk about a little bit about my. You know, so I was in Thailand for 5 months, and it was a good. It was a good experience. I've learned a lot. I've set myself up now, so. I made some mistakes. I spent too much money by far, but it was a good 5 months. I'm now geared up in my mind with where I need to go mentally, what I need to do with my YouTube channel, what mistakes I should not do this time. Not big mistakes, but just, you know, 5 months. I wasn't a 2-week millionaire. I was at the 5 months is nearly half a year, long time, but I learned a lot in that time. It was a good dress rehearsal for my final trip, hopefully in a week and a half's time, if all goes well with my house. So when I got there, the first couple of weeks I was partying, I was out every night, you know, I was late nights too. You get fed up of it after a while if you live there. Settled down. Of course, when I moved into my apartment, everything changed from then on. I went out and bought a 55-inch TV, you know, set up my workstation properly for my YouTube. You know, very, very comfortable. Started getting into a routine of going to the park every night and walking, going to the supermarkets, buying sourdough bread and a lot of foreign dishes from Villa. I found a few cheaper places to eat. I'll be doing videos on them as well. And I've decided now, you know, with the YouTube channel, I was slightly lazy while I was out there. I tended to make more videos in Pattaya, which really wasn't a great thing to do because there's so many YouTubers in Pattaya. You didn't really need any more videos from there. But what I want to do, what I think I want to do when I get out there now, somebody left a comment and said, oh, the direction of this channel is changing. Well, what it's changing to now is originally what I wanted it to be, because when I originally started the channel, it was going to be a kind of travel channel, and then COVID hit and, you know, the whole mongering thing took off and the stories, and it's been good. And I'm not going to move away from the stories because people like them. But I think what I'd like to do now is, wow, it's got hot all of a sudden. Hang on, let me just turn this off. I think what I'd like to do now, I'd like to continue with the stories on a Saturday because they're very, very popular. A lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon now, and they like send us in with stories. I'd like to read them. And, you know, some of them are, yeah, they're really jumping on the bandwagon. But I'm going to keep going as long as people send them in. So I think I want to keep the stories going on a Saturday. Definitely want to do at least 1 to 2 live streams a week. And I want to do, I think it's important to do one midweek video where I actually go out there and do something, whether it's just, you know, how to get from the airport to Nana on a train. I know it's been done, but it hasn't been done by me. You know, some restaurant stuff, some hotel reviews, some apartment reviews, ways to get around, how to rent motors, that sort of thing, you know, stuff like everything Pattaya does in Pattaya. I'd like to do some news stuff as well, but the problem with the news, you've got to be really up to date. I did, you know, about a year ago, I used to have a Wednesday roundup news channel. I used to do a Wednesday roundup. It was quite popular, but you get a lot of people come in and say, oh, that's old news, or, you know, that's changed. So I think if you're going to do sort of news, you need to do it on a daily basis, like Tim of TNT does. He must get up very, very early in the morning, goes through all the online periodicals, gets his stuff together. Then he does his stream, maybe lunchtime, and then he probably has to go to bed quite early so he can do it again the next day. Well, he's got a successful formula, and I think it's very, very good. So what else happened while I was there? What are the mistakes? Okay, so mistakes-wise, I just think I didn't control my money well enough. Towards the end, it was a lot better because I stopped going out because I just got bored. You know what I like doing? I like going on the bus to Pattaya and spending the day on the beach. I liked eating well. I like cooking in my own apartment. I like going out and about in the daytime. I love where I can just jump on a train and go up to Terminal 21 and have a look around, or MBK Centre or Fortune IT and look at all the computer gear. Love it. Absolutely love it. I just spent a little bit too much money. You know, I was a little bit of a 2-week millionaire sometimes. And I just think when I go back, I'm not going to be a cheap shot. I just think I need to get into more of a routine, put out a lot more videos, make the channel more kind of a little bit more of a travel channel, and then see how we go on from there. And obviously I'll get feedback, and if people don't like it, we'll see. And if they do like it, then I'll expand on that. But it was a good 5 months dress rehearsal. I've set myself up now. I've got my long-term visa, Thai driving licenses, both car and motorcycle. What else? Bangkok bank account. I've got my apartment all set up, so good to go. And we'll see when I get out there. People have asked me about it. I've told you now. Okay, right. Club Capio, good to have you. I was wondering where you were. Good evening. Sorry I'm late. Watching the YouTube boxing. Yeah, I picked the wrong night to do this, haven't I? So I mentioned you earlier, Capio, because I didn't have any moderators in. I've got a new moderator tonight for one night only, and that's Andrew's Real World. He's traveling tomorrow for 6 weeks. But I spoke to him on the phone earlier. I said, look, Andrew, do me a favor. what's his name? Forgot his name now. Franco. Won't forgive me for that. Franco's in Pattaya, so he's probably still asleep or he's having his breakfast now. Damon's got something personal he's got to do. I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's personal to him, so he's not in the best of moods. And I said occasionally Capio can moderate as well, but he's not always in for the full duration, or he's not always in. And you're in now, that's good. But Andrew's been in the background doing a good job. But good to have you in, Capio. Right, Club Flyers Incorporated Live. Hello, mate. Do you consider yourself a YouTube bagger? Well, I don't know what a YouTube bagger is. I know what a vlogger is. Bagger, I don't know. I know what an e-bagger is, but I don't know what a bagger is. Right. Right. Okay. So you really wanted to get your message across now because you've put it 3 times. Hello, mate. Right. Well, if you explain to me what a YouTube bagger is, I'll say yes or no. It's probably going to be something insulting, isn't it? But I'll read it out anyway. I don't get offended these days. Right, Marvin. I would need a monthly budget of 2,500 a month. I need 1 short time and 1 long time a week. Otherwise, 15 would be sufficient. Well, you know, the thing is, you could, you know, if you're into that, it's not everybody, but you get yourself a girlfriend, a nice girl, and you know, maybe on the side have 1 short time a week. I don't know. That's a good budget, though. It's a good budget. Okay, Paul Hoskins. It's impossible to have a hot tub in your apartment. Okay, a lot of massage parlors around that area, though, Paul, if you know what I mean. Right, David. Okay, a sensible question. Would you advise getting a solo trip for my first Thailand holiday? Being safe is my concern. Absolutely. You know, it's not dangerous in Thailand if you behave yourself. Let's get rid of that cough. I've said this. I must have said it 100 times on this channel. I feel safer walking through Bangkok at 3 o'clock in the morning by myself than I do in my hometown, this little market town, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's absolutely safe. You don't get hit on the head with a brick. You don't get people pulling out knives, holding you up for your wallet. You don't get people pulling out guns. The only thing you'll get, and it's down to you if you're naive or not, you'll get tuk-tuk drivers who want to take you on a tour, a so-called tour, but actually they're taking you to all their friends' tailor shops, gem shops, you know, and people will try and scam you. But as far as your safety concerns going, absolutely. And you know what? I've heard this so many times where people say the first time I went with friends, the second time I went by myself, and you know what? The second time I enjoyed it more because my friends held me down. If you go into one of the big tourist destinations, like let's just assume you go to Pattaya, you'll have a great time. You don't have to worry about your safety. You need to be worried about being scammed. You don't get taken in by the bar girl stories. They're lovely girls, but they're professionals at what they do. And she's not different. You know, that's us. You'll hear guys say she's different. She's not. Okay. But as far as your safety goes, absolutely. Go by yourself. Have a good time. Explore it. Okay. Capio says that's a fake club fillers. Okay. Putmaster 1 again. Peter, when are you going to do a comparison between Bangkok and Pattaya, pros and cons, as there's not much to do in Pattaya in the daytime, but you're by the sea and less pollution? I have actually done it, Putmaster. I haven't done like a video where the title's being comparing Bangkok, comparing Pattaya, but that's a good idea. So, I mean, what would you want to, when you say there's nothing to do in Pattaya in the daytime, there's a hell of a lot to do in Pattaya, you know. I mean, you can go go-kart racing, horse racing. They've got a water park. You can go to the beach, as you've quite rightly said. There's a lot of attractions. There's some great malls. There's plenty to do. You just got to get out there. But as far as a comparison video, what would you want to know? Like hotel prices, food prices, drinks prices, ladies' prices. I think most people already know, don't they? Or is it a video other people would want to see? Funk Bringer, thank you, the real Dutch Frang. All right, Charlie Stewart, right? I always have my vape with me on plane. Never had issues. Yeah, there's a lot of controversy right now about vapes in Thailand. You know, there's one camp of the government are trying to get it legalized, but another camp are saying no, they'll never legalize it. And you know, there is the argument, oh, when I go to Thailand, I see lots of people in nightclubs and in bars, they're vaping, they don't have any problems. Okay, fine. But you've got to remember, if you have a vape, it is illegal, and you are opening yourself up to at least getting scammed out of some money if you get caught by a policeman, okay? Because you've broken the law. To get out of it, he might want 20,000 baht, and if you don't want to pay, he can take you into a police station. So, you know, it's down to your own. So I gave up the vaping. I gave up cigarettes, and then I was vaping. I was enjoying it, and I was sitting on a beach in Hua Hin. Told this story many times. Big sign up there. Vaping is illegal. 20,000 baht fine, or 2 years in jail. And I thought, 2 years in a Thai jail for smoking a vape? That's it. And I knocked it on the head. Ed Sweeney's 20 stone wife back in English. You are gorgeous. Okay. Don Famous, a daily short video on a place you recommend in Bangkok would be awesome. Just a short informal video on who, what, where. I think on those ones, the shorts are very, very good, because when you say a short video, the problem with any kind of video, right? If you make a video, you've got to take it back, put it on your computer, you've got to edit it out, and then you've got to put in subtitles, all the rest of it. You've got to make a nice thumbnail, which takes time. I've got to find the girl to go on it. You know me and the thumbnails, right? And then you've got to do the SEO and get it up, and it's a real time-consuming business, right? But for those daily, like the change booth, for instance, the shorts are a minute long. You go on there, guys, I'm in Sukhumvit, great change booth. Here's the location, show them. No other work needs to be done. I think I'll do a lot more shorts if I find interesting stuff out there. If I suddenly find a new change booth that gives exceptional rates that's just opened up, then yeah, do 1 minute short. I'm standing on Soi 3, this new booth, recommended, there's the rates, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, brilliant. Ryan Siegel, Peter, can you say hello to my mate Jamie that I sat in a van doing security with his Thailand bound first time? Yeah, Jamie, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. Good to have you in. If you haven't been to Thailand, highly recommend you get over there. Save some money from that security job. Get over there and fill your boots. So good to have you in, Jamie. Right, yours travels again, Steve. My next trip is less of a holiday as 6 weeks with a girlfriend. Flights and condo, 2,000 for 6 weeks, but going to live off 2,000 baht a day. Let's see if I can. Well, I would say that's a good budget, but the thing is, Steve, I don't know your personal interest as far as the lady. Okay, so I would assume you're going to say she doesn't ask you for money, but of course, when you're with a partner, whether it's your wife or some girl you just met, even if she doesn't say, well, you have to give me 1,000 baht a day or whatever, you are going to have to take care of certain expenses. When you go out for a meal, if your meal's 500 baht, for instance, then it's going to be 1,000 with her, isn't it? If you go for drinks, you're going to be paying double. So let's see. It'd be interesting to to find out if your budget just stands up. Right, Chris Christopherson. I don't know if that's meant for me or somebody else. You only talk to your guys. Ken Christopherson. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't have any guys, as you put it, or is that meant for somebody else? Right, JJ975. How long was you in the army, Pete, and what corps? God, it was a long time ago. Very, very young. Let's not get into that right here. Right, Peter Cross. Doing vlogs in Thonburi is pure gold, and a few vloggers can be bothered to cross the river. Best part of Bangkok, in my opinion. Yeah, Bangkok Pat does some very good videos. Although I've got to be honest with you, I mean, I enjoy all his videos, like when he used to do like Washington Square, Sukhumvit and that, but he's tended to do quite a lot of videos on train lines and that sort of thing, railway stations, and that's not really my sort of thing, so they don't kind of interest me so much, but his quality of his videos is very, very good. The problem is, I'll tell you what the problem is, right? A lot of people knock me for the sort of content I put out. They say, oh, you're always talking about girls, women, half-naked women on your thumbnails. There's more to Thailand than that, and it's right. But I've seen very, very good YouTubers, is that how you put it? YouTubers out there who don't do this kind of thing, and they only make videos about tall buildings and sunsets and great restaurants and where to rent motorbikes. And some of the videos you see, they'll get like 3,000-4,000 hits during a long time, and they're great vloggers, and it's interesting content. But there's a lot of people out there, they don't really want to see sunsets and temples. They want to see a bit more of something else. And I guess I appeal to some people, but it restricts the channel because you're only going out to a certain audience. That's why when I live in Thailand, I don't want to drop what I'm doing now, but I want to kind of expand it out a bit and try and do a little bit more interesting. I definitely need to get out there more. I'm going to get myself a scooter in Bangkok, because some of those long soys, you can find some interesting places tucked away. I do want to go out, and one thing I've also learned about my recent trip in Bangkok, I was sleeping too late. I mean, in the UK, like today, I woke up at 7 a.m. Me and Benji were hot to trot at 8 a.m. I'd had a cup of coffee and took him for a mile walk. It's great. But I don't know, in Thailand, because I don't have a reason to get up, I don't have to get up to walk the dog or to take somebody to work or whatever. I wake up and it's like 9 o'clock and it's really nice laying in bed in the cool sheets, the aircon's on me. And it's like, you know what? I don't have to get up. I'll have another 10 minutes and another 2 hours goes by. I've got to say, right, whatever time, 8 o'clock, alarm clock on, however I feel, I jump out of bed. Otherwise, you're just wasting the day, aren't you? And I do want to visit Ayutthaya, because that Ayutthaya used to be the capital of Thailand before Bangkok. And apparently, I can't remember being there years ago. I don't think I have. I might have done. But it's a very cultural city, and I would like to go there, and I definitely will. And I also want to go. I know a lot of people have done the video already, but again, as I keep saying, I haven't done it, and I want to do it. I want to go to that place a little bit out of Bangkok where they have the train comes through the market, and they literally have to separate. They take the market aside, and the train comes down the middle. Fantastic! I've not been there. I'd love to see it. Right. Okay. Charles Stewart, right, vaping on plane like smoking, not allowed. Yeah, that's true. And I used to be very bad. What I used to do was when you're on it, because I was a smoker, and it's an addiction, isn't it? And what I used to do, I'd purposely wear a shirt that had a pocket here. And then what I would do, I'd have the vape, it's like a pen, isn't it, there? And of course, at night, all the lights go off. And what I used to do, I used to have a blanket over me up to here. I'd look around, I'd go under the blanket, take a puff, and I got away with it, but it was, like you say, it's illegal. Yeah, a lot of different people saying a lot of different things. Vape whole time out without any issues. Okay. Okay, Shikapachi, a bit confused. Are you in Thailand or are you in England? No, outside live streaming. Well, I am in England. I was in Thailand 2 days ago, and I did a lot of outdoor streams. I did not outdoor streams. I did a couple of outdoor streams where I walked from Soy Cowboy through Nana, Soy 4. I interviewed some people. I was outside in Pattaya. I was speaking to some nice girls on the beachfront. Do you remember Joy, the girl who was absolutely broke, didn't have a penny to her name? I gave her 200 baht, got her some orange juice and stuff. And the problem is, in Bangkok, where do you go if you're doing a stream live late at night? There's a lot of things. You got the copyright issues in bars with the music. You got to be careful late at night on your own with camera equipment, haven't you? But yeah, I got back 2 days ago. Right, Andrew's Real World. I'm heading off to bed now, Peter. Got to get up early in the morning to get to the coach to the airport. Good evening, everybody. See you all soon, hopefully. Yeah, Andrew, thanks for tonight, and have a great trip. 6 weeks. We'll check out your channel. Hopefully, you'll put out some good videos. I know you're going to have a great time, and yeah, look forward to it. Thanks, Andrew. Right, somebody just said bye-bye to you there. Seascapes, Andrew's Real World, bye. Okay, I was with Andrew in Pattaya for probably, I think he was there for about 3 weeks while I was there, and we had a blast, I'd actually met him on the channel before. Sometimes I meet people on the channel, then I meet them in real life, and you make an opinion about someone. And when I was speaking to Andrew, I thought, I'm not going to get on with this guy. He's not my type of guy. I thought, well, when I meet him, he's totally different to me. And I was talking to him on the phone. I just picked up that vibe, and I thought, he's not going to be my sort of guy, as it were. And I met him in Pattaya, and what? We had a great laugh. He was definitely a good guy, good sense of humor. And it just goes to show you can meet some great people out there, But yeah, nice guy, Andrew. Right, Mike Benj, me too, brother. As of right now, probably get to Hua Hin by train and check out some national parks, then back to Bangkok, where I'd like to find a decent scooter to take to Koh Yai, then Pattaya. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to do. I love it when I rent a scooter out there, just flying around in the daytime. They're quite fast, 150, well, the 125cc engines on them, but they're pretty good. Yeah, that's a great example, actually. Oh, Foggy, will you do more videos like the one you did about the bridge on the River Kwai? Definitely, 100%. But that's a really, really good example what I'm saying about the numbers. Now, that bridge on the River Kwai, I did it with my friend Simon. Now, that was a 2-day affair to make that. We drove to Kanchanaburi, where the bridge is. We did a bit of research. We went to the war cemetery. We filmed the bridge. And then we drove 80 kilometers to Hellfire Pass. A lot of history there. We filmed it. Turned out to be a great video. I was very happy with it. And it's had about 12,000 viewings in over a year. Whereas the stories I put up, they're getting like 40, 50,000 viewings after a year. So yes, definitely. What you got to remember, if you've got 40,000 subscribers, 50,000 subscribers, they don't all subscribe to watch everything you ever put out. There might be, for myself, actually, 46,000 subscribers. I might have 25,000 who only listen to the stories on Saturday morning. That's it. There might be 1,000 people who only like the live streams. So what you're talking about there, the old bridge on the River Kwai, definitely. I like doing them sort of videos, so I will do them. I'm a real history buff. You know, I did one here 4 miles away from where I live. There's an old Second World War American airfield where they did the first bomb runs over to Germany. I did that. That's only had like 3,000 viewings in nearly 2 years, but I enjoy making them sort of videos. Right, Mike Veit says, love walking around Bangkok early morning. Yeah. I mean, there's such a vibe, isn't there, in Bangkok? 24/7. Right, Louis Leisure. Don't we on any shrines like Peter's? Yeah. Do you remember that one? The guy was on a, you know, the little spirit houses. There was one in a corner of a field, and the guy stopped in his motorbike for a pee, and he peed on this spirit house. You know, terrible. Wasn't his fault, accident, but it's a spirit house, right? Let me just turn this off. Right. Right, Don, do you have TikTok? Yeah. I mean, I don't have a TikTok channel. I'm actually in the process of, at the moment, of hiring a social media manager. I found a guy. My budget is $200 a month, and you might laugh at that, but basically it'll be somebody from the Philippines or Pakistan or somewhere like that. And all I want them to do is set up 2 or 3 social media groups, where, you know, TikTok, Facebook, that sort of thing, and just post on them 3 times a week, just to try and bring some more traffic to my YouTube channel. And I budgeted $200 a month for somebody, and it's quite, for somebody who lives in a you know, a country where they, you know, the economy is quite, I don't want to say it in a derogatory way, but they're, you know, they're living on $100 a month virtually. To get, you know, these guys are on Fiverr and you know, these sort of places. For them to get a constant $200 a month goes a long way in their own countries. So although you might watch this and think, well, this guy's having a joke paying somebody $200, they need to spend maybe half an hour to an hour, 3 days a week. I mean, and that's a constant revenue stream for them. So it's not bad at all for them. I did have about 5 people answered my message, and there's one person, you know, I probably will be taking on. Right, Scapaci again. Sorry to labour the point, Peter. Still confused. Are you in GBO? I'm in the UK. Okay, I took a night flight. I took off at 12:15, which was a Saturday morning yesterday, and because of the time difference, I arrived here basically yesterday morning at about 9:30. So I've been in the UK for 24 hours, 36 hours, something like that. Okay, the plan is to get out to Thailand as soon as I can. My house is going through, hopefully on the 7th of March, and by the 8th of the 9th, I'll be back in Bangkok, and that'll be it. Peter Cross, how long ago was the Canterbury video? I missed it. Was it 2 months ago? No, it was about a year ago, actually. But you can't miss it because there's a picture of me on the front, and there's you can see a railway bridge in the back. You'll find it if you really want to look at it. Right, I don't know what these relate to. Sounds like a job for Simon Cowell. I don't know what that relates to. Okay. Right, let's do the Ladyboy competition. We've been going for, nearly 2 hours now. What day is it, Dave? It's Sunday. I'll try and do another live stream on Friday like I used to do. Okay, let's have a look. How many Ladyboys are... Okay, so it's the Ladyboy competition, and this week it varies, but right, there's 7 Ladyboys here, okay? Only one of them is a real lady, and the idea of the competition, what number is the real lady? Now, let me just, because I screwed up earlier, didn't I? Hang on, it's definitely that one. Yeah, so there's 8 pictures, 7 Ladyboys, 1 lady. Just tell me the number of the real lady, okay? Okay, a lot of right answers today, so that's really, really good. So Mara, that isn't a right answer, but first right answer is Matthew Cartwright, yes. Ricky E, there's no number 9. Richard Woolley, no. Louis Leisure, yes. The Real Dutch Frank, yes. Jeff Say, yes. Only in Thailand, yes. Isles of Sacking Dicks, yes. Squirrels, yes. Original Blaster, yes. Dr. Inviso, yes. George, yes. George, you got it right. Well done, mate. Don, no. Coconut Head, yes. Javier, yes. Real Rennie, yes. Thai Billy Boy, no. To be or not to be, yes. Nick S, yes. Well done, Nick. Makes a change. Pupmaster 1, no. Soul, no. Max Fight, no. Paul Scarth, yes. Brett Border, no. Rob Wingle, is it? Yes. Gabor, yes. D Dong, yes. Capio, yes. You got it right. Well done. Charlie Stewart, no. Dahama Singh, well done. You got it right. Cosmin, yeah. A lot of right answers tonight, guys. M and G, yes. Joe Pett, yes. Donald Pearson, no. No Name, no. Cam the, where are we? I've lost you. Cam the Cook, no. Charles Sanders, yes. KR3 Goss, no. Scott, no. Anton R, yes. Right, let me just run through all the yeses now because there's a lot of right answers because it we'll be here all night otherwise. Right, Anton, yes. David Heisberg, yes. Barang, yes. Ben, no. Deke the Trucker, yeah. Well done, Deke. Good, you got one right. Faraway John, yes. Innovations, yes. Paul Hoskins, yes. Tube 90, yes. Michael Sherman, yes. Geezers, yeah. Well done, Jason, yes. Ricardo, yes. Oh, lots of right answers tonight. Matthew, I said you're right already. Marvin, yes. Zuckerberg, I think it is, yes. Wayne Mando, yes. Any more? Jack Bar, yes. I think we're there. Innovations 2 was the least attractive one of the panel. Yeah, but it wasn't. The competition wasn't who's the best looking. It was which one is a real lady and not a lady boy, right? Paul Scath, yes. Okay, that's it. Let me put you out your misery. Show you who the real lady was. And more of the same next week. Right, I'm going to do this once again. If you come in late into the stream, there's 2 young girls here. They're sharing a picture on a phone. One of them's got a boyfriend, and he sent a picture of a part of his anatomy. And she's basically saying to her friend, look, have a look at this, but don't laugh. And it's just so funny. Have a look at this.
Don't you dare laugh.
They're just like very, very naughty girls, aren't they? Okay. What have we missed? Have we had our turn on? That's enough of that. Disgusting. Right. Okay. Let's get back to the comments. Real Deal Farang, Capio, hello. James 296, number 5 is gorgeous regardless. Okay. Paul Hoskin, it's like eating food. If it looks awful but tastes nice, go for it. James Street, Peter, how you doing? I'm doing great, James. Thanks for asking. Good to have you in. Put you up there, little member sign there. Louis Lewis, nice. Matthew, Paul Scraff, most natural looking one, really. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to be here too long. And those competitions, they take a long time. And, you know, when I was here and I had nothing to do, I had all day, every day. And that's how I come up with these competitions. But they are very, very time consuming. You know, I don't know how I'm going to replace. No, I do know how I'm going to replace them. When I'm in Thailand, I'll try and do some live blogs, some interesting stuff. And I'll get out there, and then maybe I don't have to do so much of the competitions. Okay. All right. Matthew, first time I've got one right. Yeah, Matthew, I know. Yeah, first one. Well done. Looks like I'm stuffed. They're all ladies to me. Peter Cross. Right. Again, look, 2 was the least attractive one on the panel, but that was my ploy, you see. I thought, well, I'll get them on this one. But a lot of you actually got it right. Mike H, first time I got one right. Yeah, well done. Louis Leisure, that makes me feel better about my trip. Okay. Faraway John, wow, thanks, Capio. Mara, all hail, Capio. Do you know, Capio's got a stream, and it's I used to watch it. It was just before I went to bed. I'd had a few drinks. It was almost gone. I thought I'll just have a quick flick through, and Capio was on. I used to come in and say stupid. They'd be on at somebody, and I'd jump on the bandwagon. But I always, now when I see Capio's live and I look, it's like 4 hours ago, 6 hours ago. I always miss it, and I am signed up, and I do get I'm actually a member on there, but I never seem to get the notification. I've done all the bell. I'll go and check it again tomorrow because I always miss the live stream. But maybe I think what I did, I signed up for Capio, but then the bell notification, I turned it off because every time I went into his stream, I used to be pissed and come out with stupid stuff. So I think I actually turned it off. But yeah, check out his channel sometime, Capio. Right. What's this one here? Look, do soy dog competitions, Peter Cross. Yeah. I told you when I was in Jumpton, I was there with my selfie stick filming. It went all quiet. And I went past the 7-Eleven. There was a pack of dogs there, and one of them decided he was going to challenge me. You know, so he came up and he was barking at me. You know, they're like these. You think, Jesus, if that thing bites me, I'm going to catch every disease known to man. And it came up, and luckily I had my selfie stick, so I extended it and I started waving it, and it crapped itself and it went off. So I think the Thais like carry a stick at night and just beat them. You know. But, you know, if you're walking around late at night, take a stick with you, a selfie stick or something, because those dogs know they've been whacked so many times. You show them the stick and they're not brave anymore. Okay, I don't know who that's aimed at. It says, Steve James, why not start Thai boxing? Okay, it's aimed at Steve James. No, it's aimed at somebody else. I'm not really a Thai boxing fan myself. It's not something I'm really interested in. Yeah, so Peter, you're a free agent now. Enjoy your retirement. Yeah, the thing is, I'm so old now. Capio made a very good comment last week. He said, "Do you intend to, have a girlfriend? Because short-time mongering is fun. I'm told, right? But you know, it's a very lonely life, isn't it? Being a monger, you know, you need a lot of money, and it's short-lived, and you know, maybe a relationship's the way to go. You know, I'm open to everything. Still technically married, of course." We were talking about that earlier. How's the container business going? Returns coming soon. You're talking about the cannabis factory, right? I spoke to Simon about this the other day, actually. He's predicting about 3 months now for some returns. It's going very, very well. A lot of people invested. Apparently, the factory's completely changed. When I go back, I'm going to go to Simon's factory again and film it yet again because I've done it twice now. And on the last time I went, they were just starting to put all the growing trays out. They had all welding going on, but apparently it's totally different now. So when I get back, we'll do another video on that and have a look. Right, Thailand mixed scammer. Nice one for gifted membership, Capio. Yeah, okay. I actually joined Capio's as well because he gifted a load of memberships on here, and I thought, well, I better give something back. It's funny enough, I just answered that, Kapachi. I didn't see your comment, but that's perfect timing. Peter, when you go back to Bangkok as a single man, you're going to play the Monger side of the game. I don't think so. No, it's kind of. I don't want to say too much here. There's a lot of pretty girls around. I enjoy the company more than anything. You know, I mean, if I go into bars, start talking to somebody interesting, and I feel like the girls in Bangkok, if they know you're not interested in that, they do open up and they're quite interesting to talk to. I mean, if you want to watch a brilliant video. I made a video about 6 months ago about a Pattaya bar girl. Okay, I forget her name, but you'll see the thumbnail is a girl putting lipstick on, right? And what it is, if you haven't seen it, it's about a girl who came down from Assam when she was about 16, 17, didn't know anything, never seen a foreigner before. Her friend Dang used to go to the village with gold, new mobile phone, and she was thinking, well, she must have a good job. She's making lots of money. And Dang said to her, why don't you come down to Pattaya, explain the whole game. And the story is actually from her getting to Pattaya with absolutely nothing to getting to the age of about 40, getting married to a foreigner. And then the last part of the story is the foreigner expressing, the English guy, expressing how he felt about it, knowing that she'd been a bar girl. She'd been with literally thousands of guys. When he came back to the UK, he felt like raging what she might be doing. And it's a great story. And a lot of people said to me, well, how could she write a story like this? But the fact of the matter is, the reason the story is so good is because now she's married to an English guy. Her level of English is much better. She didn't actually write the story. She sat with her husband, wanted to share it with my viewers. So she sat with her husband, told it in her own way, and her English husband wrote it out in a way that is understandable. I made a lot of effort to make it a good video with background pictures. When she said we went to Pattaya on the bus, I put a picture of a bus. Went into the bar, there was a picture of the bar. But it's a really really good story. And if you want to get into the mindset of how a bar girl thinks and what they like and what they hate, go and have a look at that video. It's called something, a Pattaya bar girl story. It's kind of gold letter in the wording's gold, and there's a picture of this girl putting makeup on, and it's a really, really good story. And in fact, even though I've told that story, I've listened to it at least 3 times on my headphones while I've been out with Benji, because it's just such an interesting story. You know, you go into Pattaya, you think you know it, or you talk to these girls, but this story from her is her own words. It's total honest. She goes on about how she hated the young guys coming in, wasting her time, and you know, just go and watch it. It's really interesting. You know, and I'm not trying to promote my own video. I'm trying to promote my channel, of course, but that particular video is outstanding in my opinion, because it's such a great story. Right, Passimo. Got to click that bell and set it all defaults to personalized, which can decide not to tell you anyway. You're talking about Capio's channel when I subscribe, but what his channel, his stream used to come on when I had about 3 or 4 beers and I was a bit pissed. And then, you know, it's a sort of channel where they talk about anything. They don't give a shit really what they talk about. And they get onto a subject about a certain person I didn't like. And then I jump in and I say lots of things. And in the morning, I think, oh my God, what did I say on his channel? I'd go and listen to it and think, Jesus, you know, so that's the story of that one. Okay, let's have a look at this. There's a scam in Thailand for sending sausage pics and threatening to send it to your family, apparently. Yeah, okay, well, this is a worldwide phenomenon. It's not only in Thailand. So basically what it is, it's called, it's got an official name. It's called something like the love scam or something like that. Probably got that wrong, but it has got a name. So what it is, you get somebody, he's intimate with a girl or the girl's intimate with him. They persuade the other person in the party to take personalized photographs of themselves naked. And then what happens, if it's the guy, he'll write to the girl writes to the guy, if you don't send me X amount of baht or dollars or whatever it is, I'm going to put these pictures on Facebook. Now, obviously a Thai girl whose family doesn't know what she's up to, doesn't want to lose face. She doesn't want them pictures out there. And this is quite a common scam. It's a very cruel scam in my opinion. Well, all scams are cruel, but that's particularly cruel. But it's a worldwide phenomenon. It's not just Thailand. Right, only in Thailand. I'm a Monger Jack. I'm okay. Monger all night, sleep all day, retired in Bangkok. I'm happy to say, but now that I heard that somewhere before, I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I think that was. Yeah, these questions are all coming after I've already explained them. Have you decided on what videos you do when you get back? Yeah, you'll have to rewind because I don't want to go through it again. It'll bore everyone. Right. Okay, Steve James, good question. Right. Steve James, will you find a Thai wife or not, Peter? So I really don't know. If you don't know me, I was married, I still am, for 33 years. My wife and myself are separating on good terms, really. It's just come to the end of the road, as it were. I'm not a monger. When I go out there, I'd say it's a possibility because, you know, there's a saying, you're only lonely in Thailand if you want to be lonely. I definitely don't want to live with anybody. I don't want anybody weighing me down. But if I met a nice girl who perhaps I could hang out with, have a meal with now and again, and, you know, perhaps get intimate sometimes, and somebody I could trust. I'm not saying I'm not up for it, but I wouldn't say I'm out there like looking for it, if that makes sense, because I think if you look for it, you won't find it. It's, you don't look for it, it'll find you, something like that. Anyway, right, Capio, get a puppy, Peter. I've one. He's a bundle of joy. I love dogs, Capio. I love dogs, but the problem is, you know, if you've got a dog, it's like having a child. Okay, you can't do anything without thinking about that dog. So if I don't even know if they'd allow me one in my apartment in Bangkok. I doubt it. But even if they said yes, right? Well, what happens when I go down to Pattaya? I've got to take him with me. That's fine. Do they allow them on the bus? I don't know. Probably not. Will they allow him in the hotel? Probably not. You know, it's just, I love dogs to bits. You know, I'm in the environment now where I live, where I've got a woods behind me. You know, if I'm not here, the family will take, my daughters will look after Benji and all that. And it's great having an animal. I love them to death, but I just think it's not practical in my situation. I think it would be more practical to get a girlfriend, to be honest with you. Okay, Solar Life Portugal. Peter, I'm sure you'll make a nice life in Thailand for yourself. There are many beautiful places and visit to see. Well done for getting out there and do. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is why I've taken this decision. Like I keep saying, without wanting to sound like a manic depressing, you know, England for me, it's like I'm in an open prison. You know, there's nothing going on for me here, and there is a life to be had out there. So you know, might as well take advantage of it. Okay, Capio says, understand, Mara, but the 15 years of joy is worth it. Okay, some private conversation there. Ralph, how you doing, my man? Tiger's Den. Hello, Peter. I finally made it back. Good to see it. Ralph is, I a bit of a dude down there in Pattaya, American guy, nice guy. I had a meal with him in the Pattaya Beer Garden. When was that? Was that in? That was when I first got down there. Actually, it seems like so long ago, Ralph. But we were sitting in the Pattaya Beer Garden. It was absolute torrential rain. Do you remember? We had a nice meal, a little bit of a chat. A viewer, never met him before, spoke to me here. But good to see you in the stream again, Ralph. And you have to tell me what you've been up to, because you were having some visa issues, weren't you? Right, okay. Aussie Rules. Hi, Peter. Thank you. I reached out to Lana of Farang Thai Visa about retirement visa. Appreciate your video. Again, another good video. Lana, totally great. She did my visa for her. If you want a retirement visa or some other visa, driving licenses, go and see Lana at Thai Farang. It's very close to the Holiday Inn. I've made a video about it. It's called How to Stay in Thailand Long Term. The picture on the front is a Thai girl giving a massage to another Thai girl. She's great. And actually, to anybody who says that fake stamps and all that, rubbish. I came out of immigration yesterday and the lady stamped my passport, and I said to her, just to test her, because I got a multiple entry, I said, oh, when I come back, I said, I still have my retirement visa, right? It's not cancelled. She said, no, you have multiple entries. She said, but when you come in, hold this page open for the officer. And I said, yeah, Will, thank you very much. So, yeah, absolutely brilliant. Right, Capio again. Are you aware of the Lady of the Hills, Peter? A Thai woman was murdered in Yorkshire Dales and was identified 15 years later. Her husband in Thailand is being visited by the UK police. So, no, I haven't heard about it, but if he's gone to Thailand, then it's probably 2 and 2 makes 5, right? Thai Billy Boy, great stream, Peter. It's a thumbs up from me. Thanks, Thai Billy Boy. Old Man and Cut, that's Grandad there, look. Boring Monger crap stream, give me 1p back. Yeah, okay. Gary Hughes, I had a friend in Pattaya. I sent her flowers one Valentine's. Yeah, let me get that up there. I had a friend in Pattaya. I sent her flowers one Valentine's. She gave me a real telling off. You don't understand Thai people. We need to eat, not have flowers. I think that's kind of changing a little bit now. I mean, I had a friend who was seeing a massage girl in Pattaya quite regular. It wasn't his girlfriend. She was working. He knew what she was doing, but he got on with her. And she actually said to him, she said, oh, Valentine's Day is coming. Can you send roses to the shop? And I think what it is, if they get the roses, it's a bit of face for them, you know, like, oh, look, she's got somebody who loves her and all this sort of thing. But I know what you're saying. You know, I mean, I remember years ago, there was another friend of mine. He gave a gift to a Thai girl. She wasn't very, very happy. And he was like, well, I've just given you this expensive gift. And she was like, well, I can't eat it. You know, I would have preferred money so I can buy something. Is that for me? Do you have a monthly budget in mind? 100,000, 1,000 GP or 2,000? Budget wise, I'm kind of thinking I'll tell you my actual costs at the moment. Okay, my rent at the moment is 20,000 baht a month. My internet and phone in one true is about 1,200 a month. What else do I pay? I've got a washing machine, so I don't need to worry about that. Water is 500. Yeah, my water bill is 500 baht a month. My electricity bill is kind of consistent the last 2 months at around 1,500 baht. So what's that? So 2,000 for electric and water, 1,200 for my internet and everything. So that's 3. So let's say 24,000. So at the moment, I'm spending about 24,000 a month on my apartment, electric, water, and that's it. Then I've got a washing machine in there. Hang my clothes on the balcony. I buy washing liquid from 7-Eleven, very cheap. That's about £600 a month. My shopping bill, because I go to Villa supermarket because it's expensive, but you know, places like Micro, Villa supermarket, Robinson's, you know, if you want like decent cheeses like you get in your own country, or some nice sliced ham, HP sauce, sourdough bread, you're gonna have to pay for it, okay? Because it's a lot of it's imports or made specially. Okay, so I'm spending probably, if I cook myself at home, and I'm not doing elaborate meals, I'm having baked potatoes, oven chips with chicken pies, pasta with some sauces on it, a lot of bread. I love bread. It's my downfall, actually. Wholemeal bread. You know, a lot of foods you can buy cheaply on Amazon, on Lazada. You know, things like HP beans, noodles, pot noodles from your own country. But if not, you can get it all in Villa. So back to the kind of monthly budget: £600 for my kind of ongoing bills for the apartment, electric, and all the rest of it. And then let's say food. I think if I buy it from Villa, probably about £250 to £300 a month, which is about, say, 10,000 baht a month. So what we're up to now, we said about 24,000. That's 34,000. So yeah, let's round it up to 35,000 with train tickets and all the rest of it. So at the moment, I'm spending about 35,000 a month for my essentials. But on top of that, I also have to buy medicine, which I had on a free prescription here, which is about 1,000 to 1,200 a month. Anything else I pay for? And that's without any entertainment. Okay, the good news is I don't go out to bars that often, not go-go bars, because they're just so expensive now. I don't do ladies' drinks and things like that. So I'll go out and maybe play a few games of pool. I'll go out to a cocktail bar like Oscar's on Soy 11. I like cocktails, you know, Singapore slings, all that sort of thing. I don't know why, I just love cocktails. So back, I'm sort of waffling on now. You just want to know what a budget is. I think quite comfortably I could get by on about 60, 70,000 like that. And don't forget, you've got to put some money by as well, because you've got to factor in for illness, like we talked about at the beginning of the stream. You know, if you're not going to get health insurance, then you're going to have to put money away each month. You've got to factor in maybe an emergency airfare if you need to go back to your own country for whatever. And of course, one of the biggest costs is your yearly visa. If you pay an agent, you know, you've got to factor that in. But of course, you can do that yourself if you've got a lot of time in your hands. It's a lot of red tape. It's a lot of farting around, but you can do it for about 1,900 baht. So it's a good question. It deserved a good answer. So I'm thinking kind of 60, 70,000. That's living in Bangkok. That would be quite comfortable, maybe a bit more. Right. Okay, I've fallen behind on these again. How long have we been going now? 2 hours now. Wow, I'm going to wrap this up soon. Right, Craig Stahike. Peter, is Hooters still open in Pattaya? Good question. I don't know. I was there in... when I first got down to Pattaya, I went out there on the 6th of October, and I was in Pattaya almost immediately, and it was open then. I didn't go back to Hooters this later when I went. I had a couple of trips back down to Pattaya when I had my apartment, but I didn't go to Hooters, so I don't know is the honest truth. I don't want to bullshit you. Oh, I miss the old Chang. You can actually buy it here, but it's small cans. It's quite expensive. Okay, Donald Pearson. When you open a bank account, do you put a lot in it when the rates are good and keep the balance in the UK account? No, I mean, I had my Bangkok bank account opened when I went for my visa, because that's part of the process. And to start with, I just changed up £1,000 and I put it into the Bangkok bank, and it's really great. You know, instead of having to go to money changers and have pound notes with me all the time, you know, I just topped up my Bangkok bank account, and now all I need to do when I've got a Bangkok bank ATM, I just go in and take money out up to 30,000 baht if I need it. Only in Thailand again. Right, the scam works both ways. Girls asking for a pic of your wedding tackle. When you send a pic, the girl then threatens to expose you. But what you'll find a lot of the time, when that girl, if you've never met that girl and she's there and you're talking to her all sweet, lovey-dovey online, you probably find it's some Nigerian scammer you're talking to, not a hot Thai girl. And in fact, a lot of the Thais these days are getting scammed. I've read stories about Thai girls getting scammed. You know, the Thai girls obviously go onto dating sites and what have you, and they meet people. And, you know, you'll get guys say, look, I need to get some money from a bank in Bangkok, but I haven't got the money for the airfare and I can't wait to see you, blah, blah, blah. And the Thai girl sends money, you know, and it's such a loss of face if she gets ripped off. And, yeah, you know, these people are just bottom feeders. But then if you live in Nigeria and there's no welfare system and you can't eat, then who am I to criticize them? You know, but it's just everyone's getting scammed. Right, Charles Saunders. When you're back in Laos and you have a female company and you look like a good person. Okay, I haven't actually been to Laos. Right, okay, I'm envious. TGC 2450, 2 more days and I'm finally back in Bangkok. Okay. I had a great time while I was there. Well, I say like I was on holiday. I'm going back, aren't I? Jack Spa, where are we? I've lost you. Let's see if we can find you. I'll just read this one out quick from Paul. Paul Scarf was going to say the name. You'd have thought they'd be parading up and down the soil with flowers. Okay. Where was that one from? A bar, somebody's bar. Can't find it. There we are, Jack Bar. Right. Would you suggest to go to Phuket or stay in Pattaya and Bangkok areas? What is special about Phuket? Well, Phuket is an island, of course, isn't it? And it is a beautiful place to go to, but it's very, very expensive. You know, Pattaya is good, and the logistics of getting from Pattaya to Bangkok or Pattaya, whatever you want to call it, Bangkok, Pattaya, it's a 2-hour journey, less if you're coming in from the airport, the new airport. Well, I say new, it's been around a while now. But Phuket is it is the most expensive tourist destination in Thailand. What's special about it? It's a beautiful island, of course. A lot of Australians go there. Yeah, I personally, I wouldn't. The reason I haven't done well, I don't think I've done any vlogs from Phuket is because I haven't been down there, because it's like getting down there. You have to fly down there, don't you? I will do. I'll do a couple. Yeah, absolutely. Mark V, does Thailand have cool rock bands come back? Oh yeah, they have a lot. You know, it's unbelievable the talent that they have in Thailand. There's a lot of shitty bands as well. You go in Soy 8 in Pattaya, and they're all. It's not about quality; it's about quantity. They're banging it out as loud as they can. But you know, you go to Country Roads, the Country Roads bars, brilliant bands. You go down to Pattaya along Walking Street, some of the bigger bars with live bands. They got some terrific bands in, some real talent in Thailand. Yeah, absolutely. Bernie, how you doing, mate? Yeah, you've been watching the entire stream. You know, I've been that restaurant we went to, Bernie. I've been back there at least 5 times. I went there with another viewer recently. But every time I go back there, I've got memories of me and you in that restaurant. Yeah, good to hear from you, Bernie. I'll have to go to for a wee soon, so I'll probably wrap it up real quick. It's over 2 hours now. I've enjoyed it tonight, you know, because when I did the stream in the apartment, you know, I got a Thai guy in the apartment above me, and it's like 12:01. I'm speaking really quiet like this, but in here, you know, there's nobody to disturb. I can do what I want, speak what I want, and yeah, it's been good. Okay, Mr. Mike went to Bumangrad's website. They have insurance. They accepted. They have dozens and dozens. Did you ever check those companies? Mike, I won't do now. I've just been totally put off healthcare. I don't want to go off on one again, because don't start me off, right? But for me, healthcare companies, no, I don't want to know. Thanks for the advice, but no. Right. Aussie Rose, with your GBP USD bank account, if you pull out GBP USD, do the banks still charge 2%? I believe if you pull out GBP USD, a bit late in the evening for that one. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I know, look, when you exchange, you've got to exchange your currency one way or the other, whether you wire transfer it into your Bangkok bank or you take cash and change it up. There are going to be some charges, whether it's 2% or more, I don't know. Okay. But the good thing about having a Thai bank account is you're not charged that horrible 200 that people hate, the 220 baht. You know, if you're using a foreign card and you go to any ATM, it doesn't matter how little or how much you take out, you are charged $6, okay, 220 baht. When you've got a local bank account, you don't get charged. The only time I've been charged for using my ATM card is when if I don't go to a Bangkok bank ATM machine, I go to a Casacorn bank or another bank, right? Because I use another bank, they charge me 20 baht, which is 20 pence or 30 American cents, or 40, do you call them cents in Australia? You have dollars, so I would assume so. 40 cents, that would be the charge. Okay, so it's definitely better to have a Bangkok bank and a card and everything. Right, Kabachi again. Peter, you're doing great. 70,000 baht monthly. So yeah, it's a good budget, but then you're not going to be pulling out ladies from the bars every night and buying drinks. But if you live there, you don't do that anywhere. So I'd recommend, like people say to me, if you live there, what do you reckon about? Let me just check this is on about the ladies, you know. And I always say, get yourself a girlfriend, you know, because if you get yourself a girlfriend, then obviously, especially if she's working and she's got her own money, then it's going to be a lot more economical. Plus, you're going to have somebody who stays with you because they like you, not for money, right? I'm not talking about these guys who pay 30,000 baht to rent a bar girl. That's totally different. Only in Thailand. Steve James, new member. Thank you, James. What's the most heard? Let me start that again. Right, Steve James, new member. What's the most you heard someone being scammed out of? I watched a Thailand video yesterday. A guy lost 250,000. I'm sure you'll be able to find the video if you look. Oh, lots of them. You know, you're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, because, you know, some of the scams we talk about, bar girl scams. You know, they're country farm girls. You know, and they come make these scams. But you're talking like any country in the world, not just Thailand. There's some sophisticated scams. You know, whether it's property, investments, crypto. There's some clever people out there who come up with some clever scams, believable, fake documents, and people put hundreds of thousands of dollars and they lose them. You know, I don't personally know of one scam that's outstanding more than another. Most of the scams I've heard about are guys who have sent their life savings to a bar girl's bank account because it's his girlfriend and he trusted her. And basically, when he come back to the kingdom, she'd scarpered with her Thai boyfriend and his life savings, and a lot of them, you know, joined the Pattaya Flying Club. But as far as your question about the most biggest con, I don't think there is an answer to that. There's been so many of them. Okay, somebody said the real Dutch franc. You mean the conversation rates? Real life reset Thailand. I haven't watched that one either. I'll have a look at that. Donald Pearson, the house scam, the worst. The house scam, the worst. You lose everything, just like being married. Yeah, I mean, this is a very, very common thing. What will happen is guys fall in love with girls, whether they're bar girls or whatever, go up to the village, and you know, the girls have this dream of having a house built. I heard about one village somewhere in East San. It's a real small village, but they've got like a dozen houses, like they look like houses in Sweden or Denmark. And what it is, for some reason, guys from this one country, like one guy's invested and he's made himself a house like his own country. Then he's told his friend he's coming along, and you go to this little village in East San, it looks like mini Switzerland, you know, all these bar girls live in these grand houses. But you know, you got to be careful because you can't own land in Thailand. So if, you know, if a girl says to you, look, you know, even if she's been with you a few years and you build a house for her, it's never going to be yours. As soon as she gets bored with you, you have a fallout, she gets to keep the house and you lose the money. Very, very common in Thailand. Yeah, the sick buffalo, that's kind of a bit, that's an older one, isn't it? You don't hear about that so much now. Right, let me say hi to Still Authentic. Hello from California. Good to have you in. We haven't got long to go, but good to say hello anyway. Original Blaster Kunda. Check the Nat videos. Yeah, I mean, that comes up again and again. Again, Simon made those videos for me, and they're just, you know, they were very good for my channel. Let's go back on some of these older ones. Okay, Mark V says, coolly answer my question. Jotchun is awesome. Sears live bands and Pattaya. Okay, I'll put that up. I'm not sure who that is. I hope I haven't caught COVID, or, well, everybody says COVID as soon as they're sick now, but I hope I haven't caught some kind of throat infection, because I've noticed since yesterday, I don't know if you can catch it that quick, but, you know, I had a guy behind me was coughing his guts out for most of the flight. And I've noticed during this stream now, I've been getting a tickly throat at the back. I don't know if you notice, I've been kind of coughing. I just hope I haven't caught something off the flight, you know, didn't have a mask on. Okay, another good question there. Donald Pearson, you're going to travel to other countries and do videos for the channel, or go to other countries' red light districts and let us know what's going on? Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, I can look it all up on Google before I go, and then go out there and film it. But, you know, when you start filming red light areas, you've got to be careful. There's a lot to film in Thailand before I start going abroad, but I would like to visit Vietnam and Philippines. A lot of people already doing it, isn't there? But, you know, everybody's got their own take on it. So I suppose mine would be different as well. Just going back on some of these older ones, see if there's anything. Okay. Right, I think I'm nearly done, guys. No name. I think Hooters Pattaya is open. Queen of Pattaya just did a video. Okay. Right, okay. Right, I'm nearly done, guys. Let me do I'll do the Monger Minute again before I go, as promised. We did this at the beginning. I'll do the Monger Minute. I'll read out a couple more comments, and then we're going to call it a night, okay? The reason you keep seeing that one, because that is my filler video. If I want to pour a beer or a whiskey or whatever I want to do, put that on and get just enough time to do that. It used to be this one. Who remembers this? Kind of got boring, didn't it? A little bit old hat. Okay, one or two more comments and I'm going to call it a night. Richard Woody, good night, folks. Puppet Master, thanks, Peter. Bye, everybody. We're still here at the moment. Life Reset Thailand, something about wide eyes. Louis Leisure, thanks, Peter. Have a good one. Thank you very much. Capio Evening, Steph, laugh out loud. All right, don't get us started on that one. Donald Pearson, Peter should be in the middle of the ladies. Oh my God, I've lost you. Where? We should be in the middle of the ladies dancing. Can anyone help him? Okay, yeah, absolutely. Geezers, guys, don't forget to like the stream. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Aussie Rules, saw keyframe just demonetized by YouTube, 48,000 subscribers. I wonder why that was. So it's so volatile having a YouTube channel. Don't go to Thailand and rely on having an income from YouTube. It's a great little bit of icing on the cake, but don't rely on it. Pasio, thanks for a great stream. Thank you very much. Capio, thank you. Geezers, Jason, thank you. Mara, thanks for the stream. Only Thailand. I worked for the guys. I plan to build a house for their Thai partner. Watch the video, My Thai Bride. Yeah, I've watched that. It's great. Mike H, thanks. I usually date the Thai ladies who are over 40, never been scammed, asked for a penny. For many of them, usually stick with the same few, much better attitudes, few of experience. I agree with that. I might be letting you into a little secret soon. Thank you for all your, too much information, right? Thank you for all your information over the years. You saved a lot of guys a lot of money. Thanks. I actually started the channel as a bit of entertainment. I didn't realize I was going to be like the, the agony aunt of Bangkok, as it were. Right. Yeah. Okay. I think we're done, guys. It's been a good stream. Thanks a lot. Right. Well, let me just say, I'll do the next stream. If everything's going right, I'll try and do the next stream for next Friday, 10 p.m. and then again Sunday, 10 p.m. But as I said at the beginning of the stream, I might be going off the radar for a couple of weeks because, when you move, such a big move as this, I've got to clear this house out. I've got to help my wife take furniture. I've got to phone all the utility companies. I've got to go to the bank. I want to do some clothes shopping before I go out full time. There's so much to do. Making the stories and everything, it's such a long process. So I possibly might go off the radar. So if people start saying, what's happened to Peter? Where's he gone? Has he been banned or something like that? You know what's happening. I'll try to put in as much as I can before I go back to Bangkok. But if that does happen, bear with me, guys. It's been 3 years. I've never missed a story once, I think. But until next week, thanks for joining me again. I've enjoyed it tonight. And thanks to all the guys who give me the super chats. Thanks to Andrew and Capio for doing the moderating. But thanks most of all for you guys for joining me tonight. And I'll see you real soon. Okay, thanks a lot. And have a great weekend. All right, the weekend's finished, so I shouldn't have said that. Good night anyway.